robotic delivery on her gets away with a disperse.
Some damage on the best. Stone Shield prevents almost all of the Fearless. Right.
Shadow keeps juking. Real can't find the hit. Shadow's still alive.
He's fighting for his life. He's fighting for the championship. He's fighting for everything he stands.
It's their game to lose.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 60 of the Smite Update. My name is Octane Pro, and tonight joined by F.Dot as always. How's it going, buddy?
It's going all right, my friend. How's it going, bud?
It's going good. It's been one hell of the last 2 weeks for SmiteESports, so we'll have a lot to talk about today. And yeah, I mean, you must be quite tired. You just finished up quite a long stint of casting, five plus hours or so.
Yeah, just a standard tournament. You know, that's sort of just sort of par for the course, man. You got to wake up, you know, at ungodly hours to keep up with SmiteESports. And like, I don't know, I had to wake up at like 3 in the morning, slight exaggeration, yesterday just to keep up with what's going on. And then today had a little bit of an early morning, but all for good reasons, man. Esports is the Smite scene is just absolutely insane, and I'm a huge fan. So
yeah, for sure.
10 points to me for being awesome. You suck.
That's right. Well, thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Put on the love. So outside of that, guys, you will notice that Fats is not with us this week. Fats will no longer be on the Smite update. He is taking a break from some things, so he will not be on the show. So over the next few weeks or so, we'll be testing out a few different hosts here that we have hand-selected. Our gentleman here is Nivacaris, and how's it going, buddy?
What's up, Pat? Octane. Got it.
Patrick is okay. It doesn't matter. It's going good, buddy. So for people that aren't familiar with exactly who you are, you know, why don't you give people a quick synopsis of just kind of your involvement in the Smite scene up till now?
Yeah, totally. So I do another podcast actually called On Smite, and it is with a group of guys called the Dead Workers Party, and we do a show. We're going through a bunch of like stuff right now with host changes and things like that.
Sure.
So we're not totally sure where everything's going to go, and we haven't had a shows in a little bit, but you know, it's working out. So if you guys want to check that out, it's always good. And we're starting that back up real soon with some new people even. So if you've never tuned in before, no better time than now.
There you go. Excellent, excellent. So we'll start out like we always do. F.Dot, kind of what have you been up to in Smite over the past, I guess it's been 2 weeks or so, outside of casting today?
Just been chilling. Yesterday, like I said, I woke up mad early. I feel like it was a bunch of Europeans and me and MLB Star just hanging out in the chat. Really cool stuff. You know, every time I just see LAN stuff, I'm just so excited. We get all of our buddies and all of our friends all in the same place. Real cool stuff going on. And outside of that, I mean, playing a little bit of Smite here and there, but just paying attention. We had the SPL play-ins. The play-ins for the play-ins a while ago, so that's pretty sweet. That was exciting as hell. Shouts to everybody that didn't get disqualified, already firing shots. But yeah, no, cool stuff going on, all that. And just glued to my screen is this is really where it gets down to the nitty-gritty. And, you know, I would say playoffs, but playoffs are kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving into the SPL, which is just going to demand more screen time from me. So just honestly hyped up about esports, but I feel like if I recorded that phrase and just played it every week, it'd be pretty good for this segment. So,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, yeah, Spoon Boy was there too. Shouts to Spoon Boy.
Ah, there you go. That's all that matters. I was up early yesterday as well, starting out early on. I was up about 4 a.m. yesterday, heading back from vacation. I haven't touched Smite in about a week. So I have been watching quite a bit, but I was up about 4 a.m. and had the chance to start watching right about 6 when things started. So I had an opportunity, which was great. Was quite early, as you said, for us on the East Coast, even earlier for some of our friends on the West Coast as well. But you know, that was 3 a.m., which is brutal. But outside of that, you know, just kind of been enjoying the content. It's pretty crazy, you know, I was putting together the show notes over the last few days, and there's just so much esports content right now. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, you know, some weeks we have a ton of community content and game content to go over and cool stuff coming out, but like the past 2 weeks have just been a ridiculous amount of esports content. So, Nivacaris, what about you? What have you been up to this past week in Smite?
I guess really just like play the game, and I checked out the LAN yesterday, and it was awesome. I mean, so much fun watching that. The especially the upsets or sort of upsets. I mean, it's a LAN, right? So everything's kind of up in the air at a LAN, but sort of upsets going on early in the day, which was so much fun to watch. I love how crazy the EU is, and you never know who God's people are gonna pick, really. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have a general idea, right? But you're like, oh, we're gonna mid lane Arachne this week, and it's kind of EU, so you're like, all right, they're probably gonna make it work somehow. And then really just like playing the game. I was a little disappointed because I almost got a Penta with Osiris in Arena.
Oh.
I don't know, like 2 hours ago. It was like, it's right there. Every Penta is like that, right? You just barely don't get them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like you've had quite a bit of opportunity to be playing over the past week or two.
Yeah.
Those of you guys not familiar, we didn't have an episode last week. I was away on vacation, so we decided, hey, instead of just kind of throwing something together, let's go ahead and take a week off. So it's been about 2 weeks since we've had a show. Last episode 59 was about 2 weeks ago. So before we go ahead and jump in here, I want to remind everybody, before we jump into community news, that this version of the podcast is actually available on iTunes and is also available on MP3 and with RSS feeds as well. So if you guys want to check out the show, on your way to work, at the gym, you're riding the bus or the train, please go ahead and check it out. We have a very strong audio-only kind of community, and so please make sure you check it out. Just go to iTunes or use your favorite podcast app if you're on Android, and just search for Smite Update, and you'll find it right there. It has Callie as the icon for the show, so make sure you guys check that out.
Callie.
I
went to Callie's. Actually, I have a really good friend of mine named Callie.
Yeah, do you? Is she purple?
We went to kindergarten together, and then I didn't see her ever again throughout regular school. And
Sounds like every woman.
Sounds like every woman.
Yeah. I hate you.
Why do you mean Callie? Oh, I forget that you.
What year is it, Octane? Come on, what are we doing?
Hey, you know what? It was funny. I got an email about hashtags and pound signs, by the way, and I got quite a few emails about it. And people were like, Octane, it's really great that you're not, that you don't call it hashtag, that you call it pound, because that's what it is. So yeah, F dot. They made me feel so good. They made me feel so good.
It's all contextual. It's all contextual.
I hate you.
So no, it's not. It is hashtag when we implemented before a word, implying that it is a search term. It is a hashtag. The pound sign is completely unrelated, and if you talk to me about number signs, I'm banning you from.
Isn't the fancy name for the symbol like an octu script or something weird?
Something
like that.
Something goofy.
Something
like
weird
that.
like that.
That's
it
right.
Is, actually.
That's
You're
right.
100% correct.
So moving on away
from
these two, kind of show news. We have gone ahead and launched a Smite Update Twitter account, which was quite active yesterday during the EU tournament, and will be quite active actually every day of the week. We have two gentlemen helping us out. Buddha in chat is his handle, and same thing, Lance is another gentleman. We'll be updating that along with F. and myself. So if you guys do want to check that out, it's twitter.com/TheSmiteUpdate. Go over there and follow us on Twitter, and throughout the show you might see some giveaway codes popping up on there, and also throughout the week, randomly God codes, skin codes will be available on there, along with esports news and Smite game news as well. So once again, twitter.com/TheSmiteUpdate. It will be put in chat, and please make sure you guys check it out. Would appreciate it. So let's go ahead and talk about some community news here. We do go ahead, and today you have Free Gems Sunday, and I heard you guys talking about it a little bit on the tournament cast that you guys just did. F. What exactly is this Free Gems Sunday going on right now?
Yeah, so if you go, hold on, let me get into my salesman mode.
Okay, do it.
At the moment, there is a free gem promotion going on right now, so act soon for all of your first wins of the day. You can go ahead and net yourself 40 gems. That's right, 40 gems. And if you go ahead and do it for each and every one, you get a total of 320 gems. Act now, only on till 5 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you. That was perfect.
You good?
That was perfect.
I'm sold.
That's right. Where do I sign
right
up?
now? I'm getting off the show. I'm gonna go play Smite.
Fantastic.
So moving on from there, if from Gems, gonna go ahead and highlight GameOn Magazine released their latest edition of the Smite Community Magazine. I will go ahead and put it in chat to the link there. And we actually have the Smite update is actually highlighted in there. If you guys want to go ahead and check it out, it's not on page 40, but it is on page 27. So if you guys want to check it out,
Moving on up in the world.
you know, it would be ironic if it, you know, it'd be perfect actually if it was on 40, but it's on 27. So if you guys want to check it out, there is a nice little advertisement. So if you have any friends that are checking out the magazine, haven't heard about the show, make sure you guys push them to that page, page 27. But outside of that, I want to recommend that you guys check out GameOn Magazine. It's a pretty cool, it's an online magazine. You don't pay for it. It's completely free. And I'll go ahead and put that link in chat once again. And they got some really, really cool content over there. You know, they highlight not only in-game content, there's some cosplay stuff in there, a lot of theory crafting stuff that they do as well. A lot of like things like Smite comics, stuff like that. Nivicaris, have you had a chance to check this out yet?
I'm looking at it right now. I've not checked this out.
So you haven't checked it out before, and what are your first impressions looking at it?
I like their covers. They're very fancy and very professional.
Yeah, this one has Rom on it. The one before had Giannis. F. What do you think about this magazine?
I think it's pretty. I think the production value is pretty dope. Big fan of the type of effort level that they bring out.
Yeah.
I just think the production level is dope, and that's the type of stuff I want to see. I think it's cool when we see basically anything involved in the scene, but if you can go ahead and make the next step and really bring out, like, if you can pull out all the guns, then I'm totally with it.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. We a few episodes back, we kind of talked about the need for more articles in the scene and more writers, more blogs available, stuff like that. And so this is definitely one of those things that we're excited to see because this fits that niche perfectly. And so that's great. So check it out. GameOn Magazine, as I said before, released the latest edition Smite Community Magazine. So make sure you guys check that out, bookmark it. They come out with stuff about once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks. So a pretty cool magazine for sure. Moving on from there, some other things to talk about this week. The SmiteESports blog that we talked about a few weeks back came out with a new article, quite lengthy too, and it actually talks about casters and goes into quite a bit of detail on just some of the different casters in the scene. And this is the kind of stuff that we kind of talked about we want to see more of, more and more articles in the scene, just
About casters.
That's right, about casters, example F. But no, about just more articles out there, people's opinions, and this one's really good because this guy does a lot of fact checking and definitely he knows his stuff, and I'm really impressed by it. So he goes into detail discussing the different matchups that occurred the past few weeks, and then also some of the casters and stuff like that. So please make sure you guys check it out. I will post it in chat, SmiteESports.blogspot.com. Please make sure you guys go over and check that out for sure. We got two more things to touch on here before we jump into community emails and then our lengthy conversation on esports. Pon joins Hi-Rez Studios. Do I speak for the group when I say I was rather surprised? What do you think, F.
Not surprised at all. Pon is an extremely knowledgeable individual. Extremely, and I said this on Reddit actually.
Perfect.
As I consider myself smarter than the average bear when it comes to like wordplay. I wouldn't use such a neckbeard word as wordsmith, but I like to think of myself as I hate the word nice, bro. I just hate the word nice, but it's a really good descriptor for Pon. He's just such a nice dude, smart, intelligent, well-spoken for the most part. And he's great for the community. So I'm not sure in what capacity he's hired for, but I mean, some company hiring Pon that happens to be Smite, not a surprise at all. Pon is the man, and I posted on Twitter, I'm really excited that he got a job. He is the man and can only make the game that we love a little bit better.
Yeah, what about
politics? Real.
That's right.
I like to keep it no BS. That sounded really like oh, how nice.
Nice and squishy.
Like legit. 10 points to Pon.
What about you?
I think I could say better myself. I think F. said everything that I was going to say. I said by myself. So.
Yeah, Nabil posted on Twitter. It was kind of later on the other night in the evening about it, and it was kind of cool. Showed a picture of him with his first curse check. He's definitely come a long way since being on Curse. He definitely looks quite young. I mean, last time I saw him was at the launch tournament, and he's a very well-spoken individual. He comes off very, very social online, but when you talk to him in person, he's quite quiet, but very well spoken. But the one thing about Pon that someone I was speaking to about. I was like, hey, do you know what they're doing? And they had said, no, I don't know what they'll be doing for Hi-Rez, but Pompon's one of those guys which is really good with like the Q&A type of stuff, like finding bugs or giving that detail. Like he's really good at that. He's a great guy at that, and he's done that in the past and done a really, really good job. And what I mean by that is like he'll be one of the first guys to find some of that stuff when a bug is released and stuff like that, and letting people know about it. So I think he'll be great regardless of what position he ends up taking with Hi-Rez. I mean, I'm eager to see what he does fall into, though, if it's esports or if it's Q&A or what it exactly is.
So I need to correct you real fast.
Please do.
As always. He's not doing Q&A. There's no question and answer. It would be QA, quality assurance.
Correct.
Huge difference in software-related stuff.
So thank you. That's important. That's important, though. That's important to definitely.
The scuttlebutt on the street scuttlebutt on the street. Yeah, I have a lot of Marine friends deal with it. Is that Ponpon's going to be working on the balance team? Super excited.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
I dig it.
Yeah. Definitely. And finally we're actually starting a new section on the show. We did this quite some time back. I want to say we did this when I first started the show back with Dry Bear. And it's a streamer of the week, kind of highlighting people that aren't huge in the spotlight, but people that definitely contribute to the scene. This week we're actually going to be highlighting CAPSLOCKFURY, which ironically enough is very close friends, actually went to college with Ponpon. And CAPSLOCKFURY is one of those individuals where I was hearing him on stream the other day. He was playing with one of the streamers that was on stream, and he knows a lot of the history and mythology behind these gods, like very, very well. Like, oh, this person is this person's brother or this person's sister, and this is how they're related. And so he knows his stuff really, really well. And so I wanted to highlight him and definitely let you guys know to go check out his content. I'll put a link in his Twitch and go check him out because he's very good at the game and he knows his stuff. And so there is a link in chat to CAPSLOCKFURY's Twitch account. Please go follow him, and we'll be highlighting one streamer of the week that we feel deserves the attention. Please don't email the show being like, hey, I want to be a streamer of the week. We'll be picking.
No. Screw that. Like,
okay.
I'm sorry.
You want to run with it?
Give me permission.
Please go for it.
Not in like an Octane Dad sort of way. I can permit my own way, but I need the login. If you're worried about getting spam, but no, please email the show either with yourself or with any particular people you want to point out.
Okay, that's a good point.
I love to cruise around the lower populated streams. I think it's really fun to hang out and people with like 5 viewers, and Smitten does the same.
Yeah.
I know Smitten likes to chill out in the smaller streams, but we can't hit all of them. So if your buddy's sister's iguana's grandparent is the illest streamer but has 2 viewers at a time, herself and the other browser window she opens up, let us know about her so we can check out. And maybe maybe they don't suck, and because the thing is Twitch's model doesn't really help out the lower guys. So do it. Email us and let us know, because we can't see every single stream out there. So yeah, definitely that's the best. I just want to see more people.
And it says a little bit more about CAPSLOCK. For a lot of those people that don't know, on the Smite Reddit, he does these things called Myth Mondays.
Yeah, I read that.
With CAPSLOCKFURY, and they're hilarious. Like it's all legitimate information too, and he's really funny and really knowledgeable. And obviously he's a great player too. I've come against him in some league games before. I think I played a game. He beat me as Apollo pretty hard.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a great point for sure. And so we're going to jump into our last section, guys, of kind of community news, which is our community email section. And this is where you as the community have an opportunity to email the show. If you're interested, it's smiteupdate@gmail.com. And we take a few emails per week. We get quite a number of emails, but take a few per week. And we just go ahead and talk about them on stream. And I'll actually allow Nivikaris to kind of go ahead and kind of navigate this, and we'll all kind of weigh in on some of these emails.
Yeah. All right, so we got our first email here from Whisper. And the email is, what was the first god you ever played, and when did you start playing Smite? So about you, F-Dot. Where's the first god you ever played?
The first god I ever played was Fartimus. I picked her up for the first time, and it was pretty bad. Honestly, I don't really recommend to get the feel of Smite. A hunter's kind of the bad choice, especially Artemis, who like doesn't have any real ability. When you think ability, when I say ability, I mean like line attack or whatever. Yeah, like you get Oh my god, I'm a caster. Transgressor's Fate is what they call the freaking trap for some reason. Vengeful Assault, which is the steroid of 2. Suppress the Insolent, which is the 3, which better known as the volley. And then Caledonian Ball. But like none of these abilities are really like boom goes to die.
Yeah.
So I felt really like I don't have enough buttons. I'm a WoW player. I didn't have enough buttons.
17 button mouse.
No, I'm a real good WoW player, so I just have traditional.
Good for you.
buttons. I
Good
don't
for you.
need to
Perfect.
lean on the crush that is a Naga or anything. But anyway, so
Throw it under the
I
bus.
switched. So I played Artemis the first time, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I don't really get it. Then I played Habois and just never stopped playing Hebo.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun because they got to poop on people. But I started playing the patch before Jungle Camps. Jungle Mask. Jungle Mask came out, I think it was the patch before Athena, and I was playing for like a month and a half to 2 months before the Jungle Mask came out,
Okay.
and that's probably why I got involved with the community. Because everybody hated Bumba's Mask and wanted it to go away, and I thought they were really stupid, so I opened my mouth about it.
Okay.
That actually, I think, might be right around when I started playing too. I think
Okay.
my first god was Isis. I think she was new when I started playing.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay.
no, sorry, she was new when I started playing. My first god that I played was Odin, actually.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, and I remember going in after like watching the intro video. I didn't know a lick about friggin' MOBAs when I started playing Smite. So I go in and I watch the video. I'm like, all right, this seems pretty cool, right? I take Odin, and I'm pretty sure I was in a lane by myself the whole game as Odin. I didn't know what any of his abilities did because I didn't know how to read, so I didn't read them for some reason. So I was just in lane, and I think I went 0-16.
Oh.
I jumped right into Conquest too because like the intro video taught me how to play Conquest, so
Yeah.
why not? And thankfully, I remember distinctly we had an Amir on our team who was a Smurf, and so we managed to miraculously win that game even though I was 0-16 by myself in like left lane the whole match. Didn't even know what was happening.
Man.
pretty-
For me,
ridiculous.
it was Odin as well. And I do recall starting August in 2012 is actually when I started playing the game. And it was Odin, and I loved Odin. If you even go look at, if you go look at my stats still, you'll see that Odin is still one of my top played god. Even though like I haven't really touched him in
Shouts to Hebo, dude. I have the same thing.
well over a year, and I go back and I'm like, how do I still have that many games on Odin? How is that
Yes.
possible?
Yep.
I know exactly what you guys mean. I have mine is Arachne.
Oh,
But
wow,
I
okay.
was big Arachne when she
Get
was
me out.
Yeah, right.
And no, exactly. And every friggin' she's still in like my top 4 like most played percentage-wise gods. But I have like 6. I have like 7 gods ahead of her in worshippers. And I'll get her in Assault, and I'm like, God, no. Go, someone take this away from me. I do not want to play Arachne ever again. I need to get everyone else ahead of her. Oh my gosh. I remember when she was great, and she was the queen of the jungle, and now I
hated her.
Oh.
I always hated the bug, dude.
Yeah. Hey, my predictions are she's getting that remodel. She'll have it. It'll be coming here.
I thought they were going to rework her.
They're
not just
doing.
remodel.
They're doing. Hi-Rez Stu had posted on his Twitter that there'll be 2 remodels this patch, and I'm almost certain she's going to be one.
You understand that remodel's different than rework, right?
Correct.
Yeah, remodel
correct.
is just like the model.
That's
and
what I'm
rework's
saying.
the
That's what I'm
like
saying.
Kali.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, yeah, like I think she will. So we'll have to see though.
Wait, do you think they're going to keep her kit?
That was one of the surveys though that you saw Stu come out with. He was asking like, do people want to keep her kit or no? Kind of like the
Yeah, no one wants her kit.
yeah. I don't know. What do you
Her
think?
kit's the
What
worst.
do you think of her kit, F. Dot? Do you think it should be out or keep it?
Give the eggs vision again.
I like that idea. That's a good idea.
Okay? Give the eggs vision again. Change Drain Life or whatever the hell it's called.
Mm.
Make her a guardian. Boom!
Oh.
I'm the best!
That'd be kind of cool. I like it. I
That's-
dig it.
Actually, physical guardian. So should we be magical all of a sudden then? Would you switch to
Nah.
that too? No,
Nah,
physical guardian.
Just keep her physical.
Guardian.
First one. I like
Freya's
it.
a magical assassin.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we'll call her a mage.
Yeah. So why don't we move on for another email here?
All right,
All right,
so we got.
I'll go ahead and take
Oh.
this one by the horns.
Go for it.
Email from Eric. Is this from you?
No, you go ahead. It's too late now. Moments passed.
No. Did you send this one? Never mind. I've been working on a site that lets players check. Okay, this guy's cool. I've been working on a site that lets players check their personal league stats as well as compiled community information. Can you get your stupid cursor out of here, dude? Compiled community information across all levels of play. So basically, this guy made a website called Smite.guru.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's really the community. Like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Okay, Octane Pro, you have homework right now. You have classwork. Go find me an actual question.
That is not a question. He wants our initial thoughts on the site.
Yeah.
So I said, all right.
Smite.guru is really dope.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cool information. It's basically Smite.guru is, if you need like a quick summation of what it is, it's a website that Kret and Adonis are in love with. And that pretty much tells you all the information you need to know. So go ahead and go to smite.guru, and it's just numbers. I think we killed it. We gave it the love hug.
Did this.
Yeah, I think
we did this the other. What site did we do this to the other week?
Yeah, we did this last time. We did this last time. We gave it the love hug. Unfortunately, it's down right now, but I've been to it myself. I frequent it. It's really solid info about individual players. It's basically the old like stats page, but actually relevant information, giving you your actual quote unquote elo, your ranked stuff, opposition, etc. It's really cool stuff, and I'm really into it. That said, there's no real question, so I feel shortchanged. So I'm gonna take number 3 as well. Number 3 comes from a user called Janelle. Due to roster changes happening recently and new contenders coming out in the Pro League play-ins, in your opinion, which team do you believe is the team to beat from both NA and EU, and why? And that's the type of email I want you to put on the show, because that actually encourages conversation. And also, just because I like to pat myself on the back, she ended the email with, by the way, keep doing what you guys do. I love your honesty and thoughts on SmiteESports. F. is the coolest person in the entire world.
That is BS. It is not in the email. Do not believe this man. Do not believe this man. But yeah, good email for sure. That came in before this past weekend, so before the EU event. But you know, I'll kind of throw it over to you first, Nivikaris. I mean, who do you think, just from what you've seen, are the kind of teams to beat?
Team to beat.
Yeah.
Man, I think Dig still sits there for me as team to beat in NA.
Yep.
Like, they are, you know, across the board, never have been a weak team. And especially with, I don't want to spoil it, but of course that roster change coming up here, everyone's going to be looking to see what Dig's going to be doing in the Pro League coming up here, and then especially the playoffs and etc. after that, right? So it's Dig all the way for me. NA. EU, you know, it's always up in the air in EU.
Dude, EU,
I mean, I would have said Cloud9, but then of course they were beaten, right?
Yeah.
I would always want to say you know, solo mid is, you know, their performance of the LAN was, you know, it wasn't their best ever, but they certainly didn't do poorly by any stretch of the imagination. I think solo mid is gonna stay for me as probably the EU team to beat, probably for a while. I think they're a strong team, always, and you know, LANs are always, everything's up in the air at LANs all the time. But I think their performance back at the 200K speaks for itself, and leading into all of their time in the qualifiers.
Yeah, I'd have to say Dig, and then I would have said TSM before this weekend, but just from previous LAN experience, like, I was really impressed. But after this weekend, SK and team coach just blew me out of the water. I was like, seriously? Like, and Tom's, you know, F.'s over here shaking his head, laughing a little bit. All right, what do you got? Weigh in, bro. Weigh in.
Yo, I called it, SK. I called it. SK, my team.
They did.
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've been working on this thing a little bit on my channel called Last Hits.
Yeah.
And it's generally, if y'all remember the old first period, it's that, but I don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn, so I can actually like host a relevant conversation. And North America, I think Dignitas by far. I think that Dignitas is just going. They're going to go from good to great. Like I said, I talked a little bit about the roster switch on Last Hits. All that's up on YouTube. I'll drop the links a little bit later. Done with the self promotion. Let's just talk about it though.
Yeah.
Xing replacing Anatoly. Anatoly himself said that Xing could be the best solo laner in the world
Yeah.
with a little bit of change.
Mhm.
So that's pretty sweet. Hold on, I just gotta ban this guy forever.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's done. So Xing, so that's what Anatoly said. I think Xing's a great player, and that can work out. I'm more interested in the fact that Anatoly's shifting to a coach position.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever even thought about having a conversation with Anatoly is well aware that the man it befits him to be a coach. It just makes sense. And I think this is the perfect direction for him to go.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to get better because of that. I think Dignitas is going to go from good to great, as I said. And cognitive gaming is still very, they're King Cog. That's the hashtag I created once upon a time. I still think that they're very strong. I think Dignitas is just getting better, and they're still the team in the North American region to beat. With respect to Europe, I think it's a lot tougher to say. I think Team Solomon and Cloud9 can perform a lot better than they performed yesterday at the regional LAN.
Yeah.
That said, I still think that SK Gaming earned their spot. They earned their first place. It was not a fluke. They're really that damn good. The beginning of the season. So the story of SK is that they came and they lost and they lost because their star player went to a quote unquote better team in Cloud9. Rip NQ, one of the best solo laners in the entire world. And then they go and they pick up Maniac and Zeros, two players that I didn't know who the hell they were.
Yeah.
Weren't the strongest team starting out. Towards the end, got really strong, came into LAN, pooped on everybody. I called it. I knew SK was going to make it to finals. Coast, all right, maybe they surprised me. I'm not infallible, but I definitely thought that SK Gaming was going to make it to the finals, and I'm not surprised that they won and took home the big check. So, tons and tons of credit and congratulations to SK, and I think that SK Gaming is the team to beat in Europe. That is strange. I am not saying Team Solo Mid.
It's weird to say that, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
that's
SK
weird.
Gaming is the team to beat in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so we'll continue into the esports section here, guys. Thanks to everybody who went ahead and emailed the show. We didn't get to all the emails, but if you guys do want to email a show, email us at smiteupdate@gmail.com. Also, if you guys go over to the Smite Update Twitter, twitter.com/thesmiteupdate, you'll be seeing a Tier Monster Ward skin going up over there within the next few seconds. Yeah, go check that out. And don't forget to hit that follow button, as we'll be doing giveaways throughout the show, throughout the week. And as always, there are always some cool updates coming out of that Twitter account. Also, if you guys are enjoying the show and you're watching this live on twitch.tv/SmiteGame, please go down below and click the streamer feedback button, click Octane Pro, and then go ahead and leave your feedback for the show. Let Hi-Rez know that you're enjoying the show and that you want to see it week in and week out. So let's go ahead and dive in. This will probably be the longer section of the show this week. We don't really have a patch to go over or anything that was, teased on or anything like that. So we're going to jump into our esports section. But before we kind of get into the nitty gritty, I want to remind you guys of two sites that are up and coming, if not even way past up and coming. They're just big in the scene right now. SmiteCentral.com is one of them, which is a media hub for everything Smite related. At this point, they have tournaments pretty much every day, and they're doing something which I think F.Dot appreciates. It's just more and more articles written on players changing teams, on teams coming into the scene, anything like that. They always have these up-to-date esports news articles over there. So go ahead and check it out. There's a good one over there about Xing joining Team Dignitas and kind of breaking it down a little bit and analyzing it. So it's www.smitecentral.com. So please check that out. And then another big one in the scene is Tier Monster. Tier Monster, as you guys know, is been around for quite some time, done some great stuff for the scene, and they have two tournaments that I want to point you guys out to. One is Code Green, and one is Code Black. And am I mistaken that you cast one of those, right, F.Dot? Or am I wrong?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. The Tier Monster tournaments. Are you casting any of those recently or no? The Code Green and the Code
not
Black?
Not as of late.
Okay.
I traditionally, I am born and bred in, from, and of Tier Monster. The reason I am even around in any capacity is Drybear, let me get a spot on Tier Monster,
Yeah.
playing around on their streaming site, and I casted a little bit for them once upon a time. And these days, it's just a little too much for me to cast on the weekends. You know, stuff between Hi-Rez stuff and other things. I'm just not really around on the weekends. That said, sometimes I do wake up for my 7 a.m. stream slot. I'll be the first one to say that I'm not exactly the most punctilious person with respects to 7 in the freaking morning. But when I make it, we have fun. So.
Yep. Okay. Well, sweet. Good to know. So they have Code Green and Code Black. Code Green is kind of their pickup style Conquest 5v5 tournament.
I love it, though.
And I think, well, and I think the Code Black one this time around is Siege. I think they said. I think it's Siege. Yep. So it's a great site. Please make sure that you guys go check it out. 2 sites that we definitely want to highlight on the show more and more: Smite Central and Tier Monster. So a few things to talk about. Those of you guys that are looking to go to the North American Pro League kickoff LAN in Atlanta, as of a few hours ago, they did go ahead and release the link there on the Facebook page of Hi-Rez. I will post it in chat. It is available. It will be in Atlanta on Saturday, August 9th. So pretty much what you saw this past weekend for EU, but over on the NA side of the pond there. So there's the link to check that out.
But without Red Eye.
I know. Dude, he was so good. I thought he was awesome.
Of course he was, dude.
So
He's
good.
freaking Red Eye. He's freaking Red Eye. What would he be good?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, I'm a caster. He's a big... Inspiration's a heavy word, but he's a really big person for me to look at as a young professional caster.
Yeah,
making that transition from amateur to professional, you know, it's definitely a big deal to have him involved with Smite, and super excited that actually went down. One thing before we do move on, I do want to touch upon the Tier Monster tournaments, because I think that this is a huge, really important thing, especially people that are unaware of how it works out. Code Black is a Siege tournament. Who cares? Code Green is really exciting and really important for the scene. And I'm not going to say it doesn't get the attention that it deserves, because, frankly, every week that I casted, there was an absorbent amount of people lining up to play in this tournament. But more people need to come out and watch. More people, importantly, need to come out and play. Because what Code Green is, if you're uninitiated, is it's a pickup style tournament. So what happens is you don't have to have your team, team feeders, doesn't have to line up. You come by yourself. And what happens is Tier Monster has some sort of ELO ranking system that they have. They have magic numbers in the background. And what happens is you say, all right, I'm Octane Pro, and I want to play in this Code Green tournament. And what they do is they put you and they get their robot, and they say, okay, Octane Pro can only play Ymir really well. Other than that, he's bad. So we'll put him on a team with 4 other good players.
So much
they
love.
do a lot of math, and they balance it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get professionals, like Shadow Q shows up, Annenster shows up, the guys from Cognitive Gaming show up occasionally, and they'll balance it out so that Shadow Q's on a team with somebody that's never played the game before and 3 other average players, and they'll balance them all out. So you show up by yourself, you play on a team that's balanced against other teams holistically, and it's a lot of fun. It's a chance for everybody, for people that aren't on it, that people don't have either the time or the patience or the friends to really get involved in competitive Smite, to come out. The general feel of the tournament, people play to win, but nobody gets mad when they lose, and gems are awarded to the winner just like any other tournament. So it's fun, but it's still competitive, and you don't have to worry about being on a team. It's one of the things that I don't have to put on my salesman voice for, because I actually just really feel passionately about this tournament, and I think that Code Green is a perfect thing for our community to have, and I really implore you guys to go out and check it out. It's usually on Saturdays.
Yeah, Nivikaris, have you ever played in any of the Tier Monster tournaments yet, or not yet?
No, I haven't yet. I was actually trying, my team and I were going to play this earlier, but we lost our practice yesterday, and we were like, we didn't get a practice.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
No, it sounds super. It sounds awesome, and I've heard about this before, and one of my friends wanted to participate in it too, and this stuff is absolutely right. Bruce, who was saying this in the chat, this stuff is it's super important for people that want to get into competitive. You know, you can only get so far playing League. Like, people are going to notice you playing League if you're really, really good at that. But what better way to show people that you're good in tournaments than by playing tournaments?
Right. Yeah. I bet these tournaments too have started to do really, really well after we've added in the curse client, now allowing for that communication perspective as well.
Well, see, that's also part of the thing. What Code Green does for you, I mean, curse client's around, so it's a little different story. But Code Green, we give you Mumble. Tier Monster has a Mumble with a bazillion channels in it. We set every team up in their individual channel, and you know you're in Mumble with 4 other people versus a team with 5 people in Mumble, and it's ready to go. It's as close as you can get to competitive without being A, really mad, and B, have a full team. I think it's really dope. So.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Moving on here, just talking a little bit about esports. There was a new graphic released by Hi-Rez that was done up of the EU and NA path to the World Championship. The first one was okay, but you know, this one's definitely a lot better. So for those of you guys that want something to follow along with, I'll put the link in chat. We'll be in the comments on the YouTube VOD. And just an example, you know, we did just go ahead and finish off the kickoff LAN for EU. So now, along with the play-in cup here, that is kind of going on here. And we actually didn't really get to talk much about the play-in cup because the ones that did go on last week, you know, we didn't have a show about. And I know there's a decent amount to talk about. F-Dot, you kind of just want to update us on kind of what we kind of missed out on last weekend?
Well, yeah, I just took a look at this graphic and it was extremely complicated. It's kind of hilarious. Brings me back to my old Warcraft days with the old Feral Druid flow sheet. Not going to go over it, but if you know what I'm talking about, you're definitely having a laugh. You're having a chuckle, mate!
Oh, anyway, God.
Hinduman's going to slap me for that fake accent. I know that. But we take a look at what happened last week. Last week was the play-ins for the play-ins. Basically, the people that made it to the semi-final. So it's rather confusing, and let me boil it down. Last week's tournament that was casted by...
Who casted that? I don't know. I wasn't around.
I don't remember. I'm not even kidding. I actually think it was me, but I forget who I cast it with. But that wasn't even a joke about how I forgot. Like, I actually forget. But anyway, last week, we had the play-ins for the play-ins, and what that did was we had a one-shot tournament last week to determine who would be eligible to play in a tournament to see who would be eligible to make it to the regional. So what happened was we have the top 4 teams. People that made it to the semifinals will have the opportunity for the next 2 weeks to play in a smaller tournament that will it's basically the wild card championship if you're looking at your stuff. So it'll be pretty sweet. Well, it's on the July. It's not the official. Okay, I'm using the wrong thing because wild card is actually on here. Right there, the top graphic, kickoff LAN. So those 4 teams that made it with profile, they're already there. The play-in cup is the open. It's 2 weekends, not 3, because the first weekend was the play-in for the play-in, and the top 2 teams will be entered in the pro league. So right now, as we speak, 4 teams from each region are qualified to play in the pro league, and over the next 2 weeks, the teams that made it to semifinals or better last week will vie for 2 spots in the pro league. Everybody that doesn't make it there plays for the Challengers Cup. Hinduman, stop laughing at me. This is very complicated. Okay, so one more time, because I know everybody's looking at arrows and going crazy right now.
Who's the guy who named?
There's 6 spots in the pro league. 4 teams are already qualified.
Yep.
So at least 2 spots. Now, how do these 2 spots get there? Well, we have a 2-week tournament that will decide the top 2 teams will go into the pro league. How did we decide who were in the next 2-week tournaments? Well, we had a one-shot tournament last week, and that's what that was about last week. So all you need to know is the next 2 weeks of competition, teams are fighting for 2 spots to make it to the pro league. And then that's a whole different conversation, but 2 spots to make it to the pro league the next 2 weeks. Done.
I love the naming. I love the naming convention. It's so great, Hi-Rez.
I cast it with Hinduman.
There you go. See, good deal.
It wasn't even a joke. It's been a long week.
That's right. That's right. So we'll be kind of following the play-in cup, you know, moving forward here, keeping in track with that. Same thing with the pro league here, starting up in August as well, and Challengers Cup. So as I said before, there's gonna be a lot a lot of esports kind of content to talk about over the next few weeks. And we'll be a majority of the show, to be honest with you, just because of how much is going on within the scene there. Outside of that, any Nivicaris, any last comments on any of that? The play-in cup, anything like that? SWC?
I don't think so.
All right, cool.
There are lots of arrows in that graphic. That's my insight.
All right, well, good deal.
2 weeks, 2 spots, Pro League.
Yes. Done. That's all we need to know. Good deal. So we're going to go ahead and talk quite a bit about the EU Pro League kickoff LAN that did go on this past weekend. What we're going to do is we're going to bring on Hinduman in just a minute here. He was one of the commentators that was at the event. The stud muffin of a man with the bow tie that you guys did see. He's going to join us, kind of giving his perspective. Was his first Smite LAN event, and so it was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and let me bring him on here. Bear with me for 1 second.
All right, well, you go ahead and set that up. I just want to let everybody know, this complex formula, I don't think it's something that's going to stay. Basically, we started everything off with this, like, qualifying tournament week, and it seemed like, and I don't know what happened behind this, it seemed like we started off with idea A, and then idea B of the Pro League was just better. So we switched to their mid-go, and it kind of confused everybody. Don't expect this level of confusion.
Next time around.
I expect things to be a little more streamlined for next season.
Yeah.
And we'll see after January, after Worlds. But right now, from this point forward, it's basically smooth sailing. We got a Pro League, and the top 4 teams of the Pro League go to the regional championships, and then you got a chance for the other teams to make it as well. It's pretty cut and dry past this point. But I'll be the first one to say it's been hell up to here. Anyway, welcome! Behind you, man!
Good day. Good evening.
Whoa!
Whatever time it's. I've gone too loud now.
No, you're good. You're good. You're just fine.
Buddy.
You're just fine.
You were here.
That's
First
right.
of all, going back to what you were saying about that.
Oh God, here we go. Hey, you're here to talk about, the EU Pro League, man. That's
it.
it. That's all you can talk about.
He was taking notes during the show.
No.
Like,
I could go for the whole show right now. I'm like, right, let's start. No, I'm not gonna. But the thing about the Pro League, and why it's come about very late. If you think about it, if they worked out that the top 4 teams playing a regional LAN, so the top 2 teams go through to the regional LAN for the finals, right? What are those 2 teams going to do up until that regional LAN?
Well,
and then Hi-Rez went, actually, that's a very good point. Let's make a Pro League.
Let's make a Pro League.
They'll have something to do. And everyone was like, this is a really good idea. And it's like, yes, it is. So props to Hi-Rez for realizing the issue just before it was about to happen. Because after week 10 of SWC, the 2 teams that won were like, well, see you guys, I'm not going to stream anymore because I don't have to do anything until like November, December time before, the tournament comes around. So have fun. I'm going to go stomp some noob cups all the time, because that's all I can do for the time being.
That's right.
So,
that's
that
right.
makes sense.
That's right. So we invited Hinduman on to not just run his mouth, but also to go ahead and talk about the EU Pro League kickoff LAN that did go on yesterday. Started at 6 a.m. East Coast time. Was yesterday on the 26th, if you're checking out the VOD here. The NA Pro League kickoff LAN will be Saturday, pretty much the exact mirror of this Saturday, August 9th. And their tickets are still on sale, as we kind of talked about before. And, we'll kind of, before we get into a ton of it, I just kind of want to throw it around the table here to everybody that wasn't there yet, Hindu, and just our impressions of the event and the competition before we get into it. So, Nivicaris, did you have a chance to check this out at all? What were your thoughts on it?
Oh, yeah, totally. I was watching it all morning, pretty much.
Okay.
It was awesome. I mean, I was at the 200K, and this felt just like, a mini 200K, pretty much. It's like a little small one. I really like ESL. They were the professional atmosphere that they added to it. Really, I enjoyed a lot as a viewer, and Hindu was talking to us a little bit earlier that they were great in every other regard, like one-on-one, getting him Red Bulls and stuff, but
Felt like a prince. It was amazing.
What about you, F. Just your impressions. I know you love this kind of stuff and you live for it, but what were your thoughts on it, the event?
Oh man, I was just super excited. I think it's a smaller event, so the crowd kind of seemed, the few shots that we got of like the crowd and the whole setup, it kind of looked like I don't know. You ever see Maury or like Jerry Springer? Kind of look like that. You got like a stage area and then like a small little crowd over to the side. It was pretty sweet for what it was. It was a one-day LAN. You know, I didn't exactly feel the need to go fly to freaking Germany to like watch play for one. But it was cool for the. It was excellent. It was awesome for the people that made it. When you're in Europe, it's different. I know my buddy Scoobs, Smite Game Scoobs, made it over there and cheered on Cloud9. He's the official cheerleader now. I think they even gave him some pom-poms. But no, it was really cool, and professionalism is the word that Kevin just used, and I'm gonna cling to that one. Absolutely dope. Small things make me happy. I like that they use names. Like, Bart is Bart, so we got that easy, but Hinduman doesn't like his name Graham, I guess. But I like the names thing.
They asked me, did they have an issue with them using my real name? I'm like, no, don't worry, because you won't find my Facebook profile, so it's not an issue. You know? I was like, I've only got a stupid picture on that, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just like, you know, the small things, and, you know, I have no beef with you know, going by F. or whatever, but I think it adds a different level to the cast. It makes it feel a little bit different. One of the small things, the having Bart channel his inner Hi-Rez APC and be like the weatherman in front of the board.
Oh, man.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
One of my favorite things that really told me like ESL knows what they're doing, guys, is they had Red Eye standing in front of the TV and they were talking about something, and then they went into the interview with Todd and it was on the TV and the camera like zooms in and then transitions. Like that type of stuff, homie. I'm watching TV at that point.
Yeah.
I'm not watching some like B-rate Twitch.tv stream. I'm just watching television that happens to be streamed over here instead of through a camera truck.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with all that stuff. And I really liked how we filled the time in between matches with the Todd interviews. I thought it was really cool. That said, I don't know. I thought it was all really cool. Huge fan.
Yeah, no, it was. I'm definitely one who kind of what F. was kind of pointing out, just kind of the production of it, the streaming portion of it, things that I looked at, the facility from my perspective, and it just looked amazing. It was something that I very much was like, I really wish we had this in NA right now, because I feel like it would be amazing for Hi-Rez to have such an outlet and such a resource over in the US. And as F. and I just want to reiterate, like the stream quality was amazing. It blew me away. It wasn't something that I expected. And we haven't seen something that professional in the Smite scene yet that I can say. Like, even looking at the launch event, it was good and stuff like that, but you could tell that ESL knew their stuff, and it wasn't.
Well, I mean, that's just
experience.
Exactly. And I'm not
if I stick you on a motorcycle, are you going to be able to drive like Matt Hoffman? I don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
No, absolutely not. I would actually pay good money to watch it.
But yes, I'm just saying I'm not trying to throw any past events under the bus. What I'm saying is that they set kind of a benchmark now, and I'm looking to future events and saying this is what I'm expecting as a viewer. And I know we can do it. I know we can do it in other areas. But
yeah, I mean, like that's it's sort of what they do. Like, you could be really cool at throwing parties, but you're not going to beat Jennifer Lopez in The Wedding Planner, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's not going to go down that way. So ESL puts on these ginormous events. If you guys are new to ESL, ESL have the soundstage, as you saw. They've put on a giant thing in Katowice. They do this. They are event and sort of like that. That's what they do. So when Hi-Rez came out and we did the launch tournament, I thought it was great. But, you know, the finer points that we're talking about, camera transitions, etc., we're seeing that in-house at Hi-Rez Studios as they hire production-oriented people. So you think about the small changes that we've seen. Perfect example. Think about the streams and how we handle the streams now, where there's the desk, and you saw in that tour video, they have like the sound stage with all the cameras and the stuff. That's from hiring like a handful of production-oriented people. ESL is an entire company made up of production-oriented people. So they're going to nail it. They're going to do a fantastic job. And I think as Hi-Rez learns from people like that, works with people like that, we're just going to see the overall quality of what we can bring to the table jump up a number of yards. And I'm really excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm eager to see like what happens. 1 sec. I'm eager to see what happens. What happens on the NA side if we continue to see Hi-Rez grow their production to the point where they're able to almost be like a mini ESL on their own, or if we see something, another partnership somewhere along the line with someone that occurs, is kind of the big thing that I'm looking at. You know, does Hi-Rez put the time, money, and resources and people into keeping production in-house and the NA side, or do they find a great partner like they did with ESL and kind of merge the two together? So I'm
going to be that guy. What great partner exists?
I know, and I'm going to be that guy and say I don't know. I'm just saying.
MLG. Sorry, that was my shots for the day.
MLG.
Yeah. So so let's talk a little bit more with Hinduman. I mean, Hinduman, this was your first Smite LAN, correct?
Yep.
All right,
my
so,
first official Smite LAN.
So give us a story, like your mother asking you, what did you do? What happened? You flew there, and what happened? Tell us about it.
Okay. If you want the really the in-depth story like that, like what happened on each day, is that what you're after?
I got 4 hours, so whatever you want to do.
Okay. So,
no dear, that.
The start of it sounds so bad though, but I'm still gonna do it because it's amazing, right?
Go for it.
So I land at 10 o'clock in the morning at the airport, right? And Bart's tweeting out like, "Okay, cool, we landed over in Frankfurt on our way to Dusseldorf now." Yeah, I'm in Dusseldorf, and I'm like, "Oh, yo, they must be getting the car to come and get me, right?" So I'm like, "Cool, they must be here soon." And then Bart tweets out again, showing a beer, and I'm like, "I must have picked up some beer on the way." And then Hi-Rez Josh tweets out with a picture of the rooms, and I'm like, "Hang on." So I messaged Bart, and I'm like, "Bart, are you really at the hotel?" He goes, "Yeah, buddy, why?" I'm like, I'm still at the airport. Like, no one's come for me yet." And they're like, "What, really?" So I'm like, they're like, "Oh, sugar." So I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. These things happen." I wasn't that concerned, really. I was
okay.
Like,
Good for you.
I'm
not
not someone who's going to get upset. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is disgraceful." Anyway, they say, "Listen, someone's coming to pick up Young Bay in like the next hour. So wait around, and when they pick up Young Bay, get on it." I'm like, "Cool, okay." And then APC messages me with the guy's number of who's picking up Young Bay with the message that he just got from the guy. Thing is, Young Bay's not getting picked up at Dusseldorf Airport. Young Bay's getting picked up at Cologne Airport.
Oh, word.
1:30. So I landed at 10:15. Remember this, right? This was 10:15.
Okay.
So this is now 1:30.
Oh my word.
And then I'm ringing up this driver to find out if he's coming to get me to get in Young Bay, and he can't understand me very well, because we have a bit of the language barrier and I don't have the best reception. Then he passes the phone to Half Devil. Right? And I swear, I could, when you hear a voice and you recognize it, but you can't be certain. And Half Devil did the same thing and didn't really recognize it was my voice. Right? So we have this weird conversation of like me trying to speak semi-broken English to see if it's working out. And Half Devil's speaking semi-broken English back at me, even though he can speak fine English and just never shuts up. And I'm like, what's going on? And then he said, "I'll call you back in a minute." Next minute, I get a phone call from someone else saying, "Yo, you turning the pickup?" I'm like, "Yes." This was a proper, this guy was German, but he spoke completely fluent English, right? And
Okay.
"Yo, I'm going to get you. Awesome." I'm like, "Okay, cool. How long is it going to be?" "About 45 minutes to an hour." "Okay." I'm like this stage, I'm like, you know what? Just hours are passing by,
Yeah.
It's no problem. 2:30, he gets there about 3 o'clock.
Oh my
right?
word.
3 o'clock, and I'm like, "Yo, buddy, yes, awesome. Thanks a lot for picking me up. Let's go." And he goes, "Actually, some of the Cloud9 players, Suntouch and Scoobs, and also Princess Tomato, their flight's landing here in 45 minutes. So we're gonna wait around for them." And I'm like,
"This is awesome.
Why not?"
Yeah, why not? Another hour.
Why not? I mean, while we're here, when in
For
Rome,
6 hours, might as well be here longer.
might as well do it. So after I'm currently there with him, we wait for 45 minutes, and then Princess Tomato walks out, and he's like, this is the best introduction ever. Like, he's 16 years old, this lad, right? He walks in, he goes, proper English accent, goes, "Hello, I'm Princess Tomato." And I'm like, oh my God, really? Having a name like that, I go, "Princess Tomato." I'm like, oh, dude.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so we met him.
Okay.
And this is what time is this now? About 4:45. Yeah, about 4:45. And then we're sitting here for a while, and then we're like, "Wow, these guys are taking so long." I'm like, "Tomato, what are they doing?" And they're like, "Oh, Suntouch had to put his bag into storage because it was too big." I'm like, "All right." about 35 minutes later, Touch arrives, and I'm like, what took so long? So Touch is like, yo, they put my bag on the bag rack for Tokyo. I was like, I don't even come from Tokyo. I was like, I'm guessing you haven't come from Tokyo, so pretty clearly you haven't. So we all woke up, and then we have a 45 minutes to an hour drive back to the hotel.
Oh my word!
About 5 p.m. and I'm just like, yeah, made it.
That is a long travel day.
We made it. I was up at 5 a.m. to get to the airport, and I got to the hotel at 5 p.m. 5 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
12 hours.
Okay.
Casting is harder than that shit. I'm not even joking. Seriously, like, it was actually fun to experience to an extent. Like, I'm not someone that gets too upset over it. It's just like, you know what, these things happen, and in a way, I'd rather it happen to me than one of the younger guys. You know, like, you know, say for example, Elmsy. I know he came from his grandfather, but say he traveled alone.
Yeah.
You know? And that happened to him. I'd rather it happen to me because I was literally talking to Bar, like, you know what, if someone don't turn up soon, I'm just gonna YOLO away and get a taxi or something. I was looking up. The worst thing is I spent like €30 on Wi-Fi to get in touch with people because I couldn't get hold of any, so I had to pay for airport.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
We went drinking. You know, all the players were there. Hi-Rez were all, you know, obviously they were a bit jet lagged. They'd gone for a meal.
Yeah.
And they were going back to the room, so we were like, we should eat something, guys. And like, yeah, the Hi-Rez staff are tweeting out they're eating food. I'm like, yeah, let's go get food. So like, you know, daddy Hindu to an extent, because I'm like 30 and all these kids are like 25 max with snack, right? And we're like, let's go out and eat food.
Smack's
Smack's amazing, man. Like, the whole crew of the guys are amazing. So we all went out for food and drinks, and then tomorrow had too much. Because we went back to the bar on the way back, and what the problem with the bar on the way back was all the glasses are really short. They're like shots of beer. And like Spec's like, no, they do this because then you can have a small drink, and then you can take one and go to the next bar, yeah? Now, English people, right, we have pints, and we play pub golf, right? And what he was doing, he was playing miniature pub golf, and we were playing normal pub golf, right? So I was like, no, that's not usual. Anyway, we get to one bar, and I'm just like, have you got a big beer? And they're like,
a big
yeah. And I went, no, I don't mean big, I mean monster. And they're like, liter? And I'm like, yes. So I get a liter of beer, and all the other guys around are just like, yeah, I'll have a liter of beer too. Yeah, I'll have a liter of beer too. Yeah, I'll have a liter of beer too. And the next minute, I've got all these kids drinking liter of beers with me, and I'm just like, oh, I feel so bad right now.
You're a bad influence.
I really am.
You're a bad influence. So let's jump ahead in the story a little bit here.
Let's go to the ESL.
And you know, let's talk about it. So first day getting to ESL's facility building, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, first day was the day before, obviously, and we did like a production sit down. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. The cameras were like worth more than my house, basically. like the lighting rigs above my head is more than I've ever seen before. Even Blackpool Illuminations, for those who know England, you know, like Blackpool Illuminations has a lot of lights on there. It was better than that. And I'm like, wow. It was really amazing. And then to walk in and see some of the people that I've seen on TV, like, you know Red Eye, after you mentioned him earlier, right? But to see Red Eye and then get told, oh, here's some papers for you, and this is going to be the production list for tomorrow and the order we're going to do stuff. And now you're going to go and sit in a meeting with Jason Kaplan, Bart, and Red Eye. And I'm still, you know, I'm still having the Efe moment. I'm still hanging around with Hi-Rez here, yeah? And Bart's my roommate, for fuck's sake, right? So I'm just like, he's my roommate, you know? I walk in, the first thing I see is his sunglasses on the desk. I'm like, yo, shout with Bart. Anyway, so I go to a production meeting where we all sit down and start talking about the production and stuff.
Yeah, right.
I was a proper fangirl moment. Like, I feel like I'm nobody, and like I'm just surrounded by all these people that I've seen on the screen for years and years. I'm like, it's amazing. And, like, we sat down, did all the production stuff, and just walked through, basic walkthroughs of what's going on and stuff. And then you saw some of what they were doing with the overlays and things, and the you know, those graphics you got on screen as well. Did you see how sweet they were? You know, like, they had the player comparisons.
Josh and Brad,
Josh and Brad, they both were down there as well, and they worked hard on them as well all weekend long. And it was fantastic to see those graphics coming up live on the screen, you know, and you guys hopefully at home be able to see, like, you know, the KDAs and things like that. Like,
really
Josh,
dope.
Josh is one of those guys that you guys don't see a lot behind the scenes, but basically what Adanis does is what Josh does too. Josh actually feeds Adanis with a lot of the information that he gets to produce the videos he does. Josh is the stats man. He's like huge stats guy, so he deserves a lot of respect. But yeah, when we spent the whole day doing that in production, and yeah, I mean the actual event itself, because it was very laid back on that day. You know, the first day was very laid back, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's alright, I'll just cast it, be fine. And the next day, I'm just like, okay, it's game face time, right? So we get there nice and early. I'm suited and booted, no bow tie on, because everyone was like, where'd your bow tie? I'm like, nope, not until we're going live. It's only when the games are on is when you get the bow tie on.
That a boy. Brand recognition right there.
I know. It's come from that. But I even gave Bart one as well. I was like, look, use this today for the finals. And I was like, yeah, I will. And he forgot about it until like halfway through. And okay, we'll put it on because I just remembered now. But anyway, we got there.
Did you know how to tie it?
Huh? It wasn't a proper bow tie.
It was clip-on.
The clip-on ties, yeah.
I'm good to him. And it helps me out sometimes when I use the clip-on tie. It makes things easier, you know.
It's fast, you know.
I gotta go.
Easy.
That's not F.60's type of style. He's better, more classier than that.
But on the day when we got to the production, you know, and things were going absolutely crazy. There was hundreds of people there, like everywhere. And I went outside to get a breath of fresh air, as it was very, very warm in there. And Sayo said, "Yo, there's loads of fans out there. They're all waiting to meet you." And I walked out the door for this breath of fresh air, and did not realize what had registered in my head what he said until like there was all these people just staring at me, and I'm just like, "Well, this is uncomfortable." Like I was just not prepared for that little moment, and then there was a few of them just looking at me like, "That's." I could hear my name going, "That's Hinduman. That's Hinduman." And I'm like, "Oh God, these people are here to watch this. Oh no, this is too early." And then one or two come up and start shaking my hand, going, "Hello, Hindu." I'm like, "Hi, can I have a photo with you?" I'm like, "What?" Got a photo with me?
Yeah, you look like the guy we saw on the news. I want to make sure I get a picture of you and turn it into
I want to show my mom. I want to show my mom.
The one guy comes and goes, "I want your signature." This was a bit later on, but it's like, "Oh, can I have your signature?" I'm like, I have not considered making a signature. That had not come into my head until that moment, and I was like, I just wrote the word Hindu, and I was like, it can't just be that. I drew a smiley face under it. I was like,
wow.
First timers.
I was like, first time, like, I've got nothing else left. And
I
then
honestly just signed my name, dude.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to do. But my actual real life signature is like 2 letters. It's a squiggle, and you couldn't read it. So I was like,
Okay.
I just wanted to make so people recognize it. So it's like, oh man. But yeah, the fans were amazing. First of all, the fans that turned up were fantastic. It was a great experience for them. Not just did we get the Germans in, we had Austrians. We spoke to Swedish people. There was Danes there. Even some British flew over as well.
Yeah, I heard I heard they released some tickets like last minute because they had sold out. So they went ahead and opened it up and opened up the second studio as well, which they weren't anticipating, just to have like more viewer live audience there, which is pretty sweet for sure that they were able to do that.
It was really good. I mean, the viewers were fantastic to talk to and hang around, and they were all like so enthusiastic, and I felt so lucky to be there and doing stuff. And I'm wandering around during the breaks between the games, like going to the viewing area and just sit down in the front, like, "Oh, it's nice and cool in here." I'm like, "Yo, this is pretty dope in here, isn't it?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's really good." And then they all stopped for a second. It's like, "Yo, Hinduman's just sat down in front of us here, just randomly." And like, yeah, I'm just gonna play on that one a little bit. Just like, "Yo, yeah, pretty cool." So I just started talking to them. "Where you from?" And like, "Oh, Germany." I said, "Oh, is it nearby?" I just like, talk to the fans for it. I didn't get a chance to. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this moment.
Yeah.
But the best thing for me, and I'm pretty sure every one of you at home noticed it, the makeup lady was amazing. Holy sugarino. Like, sugarino. That's what I'm going with. It's the safe word, but the makeup lady, she did work. Like I was surprised, man. I looked human, you know.
I looked human.
I actually looked like I'd had sleep. I wasn't on some sort of narcotics, you know. Like, that's unusual for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't normally happen. And the best thing about it is when we did the makeup session at the start, because like, I've never considered like they all have makeup on all the time. Like Jason Kaplan got his makeup done, and as she was doing it, me and Bart were been told we had to go and get ours done as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bart's next in line, and then as she was about to get Bart, I turned around and I said, "Yeah, she's not gonna have fun doing me. I don't think she's got enough time. Like, we're on air in 10 minutes, right?" And she turned around. This is amazing. Because I'm just like, "Yep, I know." And she turned around and looked at me, and then she went. I gave me the stare of like, shit. And I was like,
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So,
you look absolutely great.
Yeah.
Such good work.
I mean, I know you take everything in stride, but one of the biggest comments in chat was that how good you looked and how much you didn't look like Uncle Fester, which is really good.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, I can't find a hairstyle that I want, man, because I don't like this one that was on the screen, because it looked like I had a toupee.
Yeah,
dude, you look
all like this. I'm like, oh no, because if you notice the stream, if you watch the stream back, you see me keep looking at the monitor and then going. As soon as it got away from us, I was like, "Get over there! I don't want to look like a toupee anymore. No, go away! You didn't work." So.
No, you look great.
We got a photo hawk.
Yeah.
A lot of television. television magic, but you know,
Yeah.
you look great, dude. So
Nah,
you need your own makeup woman.
Yeah, right?
Do you know, I'd hire that girl. I'd hire her, and I'd hire the guy. I'd hire her, and I'd hire the stage manager.
Waterboy?
That guy he was amazing, man.
Yeah.
That guy's a legend.
That's sweet.
He'd
Well, I'm
follow-
glad they took care of you, man.
Yeah.
They really do, though. Like, they followed me around. If I were to go somewhere and do something, like, you know, he'd follow me around and then turn around to me and go, "Yo, just so you know, we'll go back on air in 5 minutes, so take your time. It's no rush." Yeah? I'm like, "Oh, cheers, man." I was a bit panicky that I might have been on it. He goes, "Oh, and by the way, Cloud9's going to be first pick." And I'm like, "Really? That's awesome." So I got back to the studio, like, "Welcome back. Cloud9's going to be first pick this game." You know, I knew it. We're
You
like,
get all the
yeah.
info. It's a lot of fun. Talk to me about your shoes, Hinduman.
You mean the trainers that I had on?
Were you really wearing sneakers?
Yeah, maybe.
So you were all up in your gear. You were
Yep.
with the full makeup and the hair, and then you were still tiptoeing in your Jordans.
Jeans and trainers.
Oh man.
Trainers.
Oh, we know how much I know how much this man does not like the jeans. Oh man.
Listen, those trainers, right? They were not supposed to be seen until there was illegal shots of me taken by the
Illegal.
public that was leaked on Twitter. I did
I
not know
actually
that was.
didn't see them. I just
Did you
have
not?
my man NQ blowing you up in chat.
Yeah.
Was it
right.
Anki? You said it. Anki, motherfucker.
Yeah, give you
I
a
just
hard
want more
time.
Like, I actually brought proper shoes with me, but then I found out that I was just gonna be behind the desk all the time. And I was
Yeah.
like, cool, because there was a chance I'd be doing the weatherman as well, like, you know, in discussion about things.
Right,
So I was
right,
like,
Right.
all right, well, I brought a full suit. And then I was like, I'm casting for the entire time and doing all the games. Okay, I'm wearing jeans and I'm wearing trainers because, like, you ain't gonna see it.
I love it.
I want a bit of comfort behind the desk, you know, because I'm on a freaking stool anyway, and I've not got the easiest of asses to sit in a stool for that amount of time either. So I was like, at least, you know, jeans and trainers will work out okay.
There you go.
Thanks, thank you.
There you go.
Scumbag NQ.
Well, good deal.
Trainers are like the British word for sneakers, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
awesome. That is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about our games here a little bit. I'll go ahead and throw it over to F. to start us out, kind of what we saw off the back, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, basically, we had two of the main thingamajiggers. The two main sets were SK versus Cloud9 and Team Coast versus TSM. Again, SK beat Cloud9. That surprised a lot of people. Not this guy.
Oh man.
Big fan of. So I'm a big fan of all these teams. Cloud9, Team Solo Mid, SK Gaming. I know all of them personally, and I respect all of their play essentially. And Team Coast. I don't know them personally, but I've been on the worst gaming hype train since day one.
Yeah, me too.
Hashtag worst behavior. You know, I'm that guy. Worst behavior.
Team
But
West
anyway.
Coast Gaming Blue.
Yeah.
Exactly. So SK going into Cloud9, I actually did expect SK to win just because. So Cloud9 was strong. TSM and Cloud9 were really strong in the beginning of the season.
Yep.
And then for one reason or another, kind of faltered off. Whereas SK had the opposite. They had a lot of momentum going into this LAN. They started to win towards the end of things. They had a lot of roster swaps that meshed towards the end. Zeros and Maniac, two of the bigger impacts during the games, wound up, they started making sense. I did not expect 2-0. I expected 2-1. So the fact that SK came out that strong was a little surprise, but I did expect Cloud9 to take a game that they didn't. Like I said, SK was on an up spike towards the end of the season, and that's really what made me say SK was expected to win. It was just something that was going to happen because of where their momentum was. So if we look at the individual games, basically, Reels went off like he usually does on LAN. Reels X is a scary, scary hunter, and the thing with Reels X is he doesn't create plays like Zapman. He makes plays like Allied in the sense that when he's around in a team fight, he can really make things happen and destroy everything. But he's not the one to get the initial axe done. He's not the one to dive 2 towers deep. He's not the play creator. That really relied a lot on NQ when it came to team fight time out of the solo lane. And, of course, NQ is now on Cloud9. So that wasn't going to happen. And Captain Twig, a lot of respected people like Adonis talk about how Captain Twig is the best mid in the world. And again, SK works more as a unit than some other teams. So when they lost NQ and they lost Proxy, it was a big change to the whole relationship of the team. So when the team got together and Maniac and Zeros really started to mesh with the team, we saw what happened, and proof is in the pudding, man.
Yeah.
Reels went off. Reels went crazy.
Dude, he was crazy that day. What was?
Yeah.
Somebody hooked him up with some steroids that morning because he was.
That's
awesome.
what happens when SK makes it to LAN, and I think that their team now. I don't think I have a lot of respect for Maniac, and we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah.
I still think NQ is the better solo laner just because NQ's that talented. But I do think that, much love to Proxy, I think they upgraded their jungle with Zeros. And also, not for nothing, huge thing. I know a couple of people involved in the SK organization. I knew that they went to the week-long boot camp. I knew all that was happening. So I knew what SK was taking in to the tournament, the background Thanatos strats and all the crazy stuff that they pulled out that Cloud9 didn't expect for. SK really came in ready to play, ready to win, and it was very apparent from the first game.
Yeah, Nibicaris, did you get a chance to see some of that? Some of the first series?
You know, given the game, started at 6 a.m., I woke up at like 8:30.
Oh!
So I got to see Coast
Where's
and
the commitment?
TSM. Yeah, I know, right? Shame on me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely impressed with Reels throughout the entire day, and I think after you had kind of like called it out like some time back, talking about Reels and just kind of pointing out the value of Reels and how he's underestimated when talking about him, and he did.
Thank you.
No, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
The chat saying, "Oh, just jumping on the hype train."
Nah, he's definitely not. He definitely,
You've been here week in, week out. You know that I've been saying SK is a beast, but we started off the season saying SK who and Team Toast.
Yes.
Well, Team Toast was totally true, and SK came back.
Ridiculous.
And I'm super happy because I respect the organization, and taking a step away from the players and looking at the larger organization, SK Gaming is one of the oldest esports franchises in history.
Yeah.
We say history. It's been like 20 years of esports. Chill with that. They're old in juxtaposition to all these other new teams. Team Solomid, the advent of the LCS is where they came from. A lot of these teams are newer. SK Gaming has been around the block. They understand that sometimes teams lose and teams restructure. Sure. And to have the faith in their team and to have the steadfast, the ability to just stay there as a backbone, losing arguably the star player in NQ and losing the jungler, one of the more high priority positions for a team of Smite, and sticking with the team, staying with them, and allowing them to restructure. That just showed that's a big league move right there, and it paid off dividends. Here we are. They won the regionals, and I think a lot of that had to do with the faith in the core of the team that is Reels and Twig, and I guess Badger. But Reels and Twig definitely bring it to the game, and SK, the organization, knows that. So credit to the players for winning, but credit to SK Gaming proper for really sticking with their team and allowing them to mature as they have, because they saw something that I did, and they knew they can make it happen.
Yeah. So, taking a look at kind of the games moving on from there throughout the day, just as F. talked about, it was very much an SK Team Coast dominant day. They did very, very well, at the beginning there. So Cloud9 went out first, and I forget it was like 6,200 or something like that, somewhere around there, give or take, that they ended up walking away with. And then $6,200.
6,250.
Perfect. Thank you. And then Team Solo Mid, followed shortly after that. And I'll have to say I was rather surprised, to be honest with you. I mean, if we go back 2 weeks ago and we're talking about, our last episode, we did have, who was it? Oh, wow, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He's going to give me a hard time. Oh,
what are you talking
who's
about?
the coach sub from TSM that I...
Zimstar?
Zimstar, thank you. I'm like blank. I'm like, he's gonna message me right now on Skype, give me a hard time. Anyways, he messaged me on Skype.
It's hard for him to message you because he's always flexing.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, right.
If you see any pictures of Zimstar,
did you see the one that like eating?
Yeah. He's the Team Solo Mid coach. He's got this
tattoo.
really beautiful piece on his arm.
Yeah.
But he's always flexing it. He's like taking a drink like this, like.
Which way is the beach?
He's like answering the phone like this, like just always forever flexing. So shouts to Zimstar for having giant biceps.
Yeah, I was just kind of surprised how things worked out, because he had messaged us like right before the last show and was like, hey, want to give you a heads up, like we haven't said anything yet, but all the guys from TSM are flying in, they're staying at my place, we're going to be boot camping. And so I was expecting some really good results out of TSM. But I have to go back to SK and talk about how when SK won that 1 week during the qualifiers, we were all shocked about it, and it was very much is this going to be a one-time deal? And they were feeling it that day. Things worked out, stars aligned, or is this going to be some momentum that they can work with? And it was just crazy to see how things worked out during the tournament there. Any big things that stood out to you, Nivikaris, just kind of about, kind of the matchups or anything like that you saw?
I'm actually really glad that when I started watching this tournament, it was Coast versus TSM, because that's actually my favorite matchup of across EU. I don't know why. I love both of those teams a lot, and I love watching them play each other because they're both so good. And it really was too bad what happened to Solomon. That they didn't have their best games ever.
No, not at all.
And it sucked. But I'm really glad that however the tournament went, especially that the Coast Team Solomon game, had the full series, and I was really happy that the SK Coast went the full series, because as a spectator, I love when it goes all the way, right?
Yeah.
You want to see as many games as possible, and having, getting an opportunity for that to happen. That's what I wanted at the 200K. I wanted it to be Dig versus TSM all the way to the top. Well, obviously, they played the finals, right? You know what I meant. I wanted them to play full series. That's what I wanted.
Full series for sure.
So I was happy that I got to see that between SK and Coast at least, and then getting to get the full 3 games out of TSM versus Coast also.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Spectator.
Yeah, I think it was great in order to see that go to Game 5. That's definitely what makes esports so much fun to watch, especially as a viewer, is to have that opportunity to enjoy that. And so that was definitely a lot of fun. And I thought it was great. What did you guys think of the format of the event and how they kind of laid it out? Any thoughts there, F'd out, on just kind of the format of the event and what I mean by that is the best of how they did that.
It's exactly, best out of 3s, single elimination. It's a single day tournament.
Yeah.
So you really can't go double elim. It worked out. I think it really I think it made a lot of sense. And I think that the best team won. I really think that the best team in those sets really won. And really, I think I was a fan of it. I don't think anything really should have changed. Like I said, SK came out and beat. I was surprised that Coast beat TSM. I predicted on last hits an SK TSM finals. So Coast came out and surprised me.
Yeah. It was interesting talking about Coast. There's a gentleman that was on the staff at the event kind of commented on how Coast, and I apologize for not knowing the name of the coach. Thank you.
I'm reading your mind, Octane.
You're so good, but the fact that he was 13 years old and that he was walking around like this was his lifelong career. He had a tablet in hand. They were reviewing stats constantly, and that was a big thing that kind of impressed them, was just the age of Team Coast and how well they did, which I think is pretty awesome to see. The one thing, you kind of have some teams that are LAN teams, some teams that aren't. Example, Cloud9, I feel like, is not a LAN team. They're just not. Look at how things turned out here, and then look back at the launch tournament. Granted, the rosters have changed, but things just didn't click for them again at this LAN event. And a team like Team Coast, where the gentleman had let me know, one of the individuals at the event had let me know that the guys on Team Coast were so calm, no nerves at all, it seemed like.
My screen let me know that. You can check that out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the fact, even after they won, they weren't, going crazy, or, as they were winning throughout the event, they weren't, letting it get to them, per se. And that's impressive for that age. And, sometimes it is about age. In this example, when you're 13, 14, 15, 16, and you win, with video games, it sounded like with Coast, I will say, I was surprised that SK won, but I'm even more surprised that Team Coast made it to the finals like they did, and did so well throughout the entire day. I think that's what was super impressive, without a doubt. Were you, let's be real, were you really expecting Team Coast to get to the finals?
No, until I tuned in.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying until I tuned in and saw them win or lose. Until I tuned in and saw them function. exactly what you said. Your super secret source lets you know some certain things about how they were like relaxed and stuff. Well, I knew about how Emilzi was coaching.
Yeah, he's
the
good.
the stories about him and his coach pad have really made the rounds at this point. I knew how much time Emilzi had put into stuff, and Kret always talks about how Emilzi should just start over Princess Tomato. Emilzi should just start over Princess Tomato because he's just that good, and because of logistical reasons, they have Tomato starting, and that to me, a support player is the person that thinks about all of the plays, all of the moves. I hear about the strategies, individual strategies against individual teams, specific like pictures of the map with graphics that you could click and drag and move and position and stuff. All that stuff really excites me. And it definitely means a lot. We take a look at the teams. I always say, look at TSM and look at COG. They have traditionally led their leagues, and they're the two teams with the prominent coaches. Well, now you add Emilzi, and all of a sudden his team goes from worst behavior, making it second place in this LAN. So what I was saying was, between the Emilzi story and watching the team sit down at their stations, computers or whatever, and just being very zen. You don't see them snapping around. You don't see them looking up and down or sheepishly smiling at the crowd or like waving or fangirling or going, oh my god, that's J-Cap, or oh my god, it's Suntouch, let me get his autograph. None of that. It was just, all right, guys, let's win.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go for it. And they had game faces on, and I think that at the level that these players play at, Octane and Kevin, at the level that these players play at, everybody is generally accepted as mad good. There's a meter that separates the really good from the really really good, but everybody is generally on the same level here.
Yeah.
And what separates the players are the stuff that happens off the battlefield. And watching them sit down and watching them just be cool, calm, collected. They said on stream that they didn't expect to win, but I certainly didn't know that from their demeanor.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
To me, as soon as I saw their demeanor, I was like, these people are going to take a game off of TSM when everyone expected them to be 2-0'd. And then they came and they won game 3 in spectacular fashion, and I was surprised, but then I thought about how they acted, and I was it just clicked. It was a big duff for me. A lot of the stuff that they did and acted like, it made sense that they won because of how they acted.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I also was just super happy to see Coast perform as well as they did, given that, we all know that when Princess Tomato came back in the team after Emilzi, they weren't, right off the bat, they weren't as good. They had a hard time those weeks after that, and to see them come to the LAN and just do as well as they did it made me so happy, and I was so proud of everything they'd done, and especially proud of Princess Tomato for really getting back to the level that he probably always had in him,
right?
But really being able to show it off to everybody.
So here's my question: what do you think we'll see out of SK and Team Coast over the next few weeks?
I think SK should be. I think SK is going to be very good. I think this was sort of SK planting their flag in the moon. That is the SPL, and just saying, yo, we know you forgot about us in the beginning of the season, but homie, watch out. and I think that Cloud9 underperformed at LAN. I think they're a much better team than they played like. I just don't think all the teeth of the cogs really caught up, and some wheels were operating faster than others.
Okay.
And the Cloud9 team has a couple of caveats in general that happen to it. And if teams can really keep an eye out for that, then Cloud9 will have a rocky future. I said that wrong. Cloud9 will have a more difficult time than I think a lot of people expect. I do expect them to do well, but in a scene that's dominated by extremely talented people, I think that they won't be the unstoppable force that they are in an open cup that we have that are the weeklies thus far. So I think SK is going to be a little more dominant than people expect, and I think that Cloud9 will be a little less dominant than people expect. Not going to blame brackets, because I yelled I trashed SK Gaming for complaining about brackets all throughout the season.
Yeah.
Their fans did a lot more than them proper, but I did see some complaining about brackets from SK. Exposed Secrets as well for full everybody gets thrashed. But SK complained about brackets, and I have no room in my. I don't care. I'm sorry. Brackets are brackets. But
That's true.
at the end of the day, it was an uphill battle for SK some weeks. I just don't like to hear you complain about it. So I think with the removal of that sort of like bracket, somebody has a harder time than others, I think that we're going to see a little more shifting of the talent, and that people will be surprised at some of the outcomes in our SPL games.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, I'm really looking forward for the constant daily content coming out of the competitive scene with the SPL. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to help to grow the scene quite a bit, a little more attention as well. And we've talked about this here in previous weeks, how, you know, now your fangirls of your teams are actually really going to come out and be able to look at a schedule and be like, wow, you know, Team Coast is playing on Wednesday night. Great. I don't have to tune in until then. And when I do tune in, you know, you got your fangirls there. So I can completely understand that. Any last comments here on the EU Pro League kickoff LAN at all? The event, the facility, production, teams, quality, results, anything?
No.
F. Dot, anything left for you?
Super excited about this relationship with ESL. Smite did something a little bit earlier, last year or so, regarding ESL. But this relationship that Smite has with ESL is super exciting. As I said, if your first esport is Smite and you guys aren't aware of the world outside of Smite, Red Eye at Paul Chancellor, fantastic caster and overall personality, really brings that. You know, if there's anything I want you guys to take away from my casts, it's professionalism. I'm definitely myself, and this who I be. But when I'm behind the mic at an official event, I like to bring the bar up a little bit. I like to watch my esports and be respected for it, and I don't want to be judged on it. And I think that Red Eye really brings that integrity to the esport, and I love that he was affiliated with this thing. I think Jason Kaplan did all right as well. Having that connection to ESL is just good, whether it's the production quality of the cameras like Hinduman was talking about, or it's the quality of the talent like I was talking about with Red Eye, or just the soundstage in general. Having that conversation open with ESL is a really big move, and I hope that Hi-Rez either learns more tricks, as they already have learned, or we continue this door open. Either way, I don't care how it works out, as long as I get a good product. I don't care whose name is on it, as long as we get a good product, and this is exactly the way you go ahead and do it. So 10 points to both Hi-Rez and ESL for putting on the event. I thought it looked really great, especially considering when it was designed to be a small event. We're not trying to fill an arena here, folks. It's a one-day event focused on local people. I think they pulled it off perfectly. They didn't overdo it. Like, there weren't any fireworks behind Bart, but they got everything looking dope. And that level of production, professionalism, integrity, and everything else-itude was absolutely awesome. And I can't wait to see more. I love the direction we're moving in, and I think this was a great barometer for the future of SmiteESports.
Yeah. One of the things I think I'm also especially excited about that this LAN really highlighted was just how up in the air the Pro League over these next several weeks is going to go for the EU. You know, we all have ideas about. We know SK is probably going to do well. We, know Coast is probably going to do well. We know all the teams are probably going to do well at the same time. They can't all do well because that's just the nature of tournament style play, right? So, and like with NA, I think we all have ideas about teams that we are all pretty sure are probably going to do really well the whole way down the line. But with EU, at least for me personally, I would honestly say I don't know.
It's a coin toss for sure.
Exactly. There's so many. They're all like neck and neck at skill levels that I don't think anyone could really at this point predict who's going to be there at the next regional LAN for EU. I think all of them have a shot. Really, is what I guess I'm trying to say. None of them are out at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I mean, we've seen Cloud9 and TSM do very well throughout the qualifiers week in and week out. Yet now after a LAN event like this where we see SK Gaming and Team Coast dominate. I will say they dominated. They did very well. That
Absolutely.
you know, moving forward into the SPL, where these 4 teams will be there. I don't think we're going to see a Cloud9 TSM domination. I think it's going to be a little bit more up in the air week in and week out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think, and that's going to be a great thing. You know, moving forward. Back on the Red Eye thing. You know, I have to back F. Dot here, and I don't always, and we sometimes disagree on things, but I have to back him. So I have to back him here on his comments towards Red Eye, because I was skeptical as someone within the Smite scene, seeing individuals come into the Smite scene that haven't been in here yet. Not to say that Red Eye doesn't have the experience or the knowledge within esports. He does, and he definitely showed it. And the guy didn't need to play Smite for 2 years and be a top-ranked player and know it inside and out in order to host it like he did. He did an amazing job, and he was given the information he needed to have, but then you could also tell he did his homework, and it made it worth it. The transitions that he did, the discussions he had with Bart around the high top table there, interviews that he had with players. Like, granted, he had some little notes in front of him. Everyone has that. That's just how it works out. But he still did a really, really good job. So it was great to see someone outside the scene just so naturally click within an event like this, which was great.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see how things work out for NA. Expectations are high now. If that's one thing that I throw over to Hi-Rez's side and just say, hey, you partner with ESL, you guys set the bar. It was a partnership, you could tell. Hi-Rez manning things in game, ESL taking care of the camera work and production and organization. And so what now? We're holding the bar. The bar's up here, and we have high expectations for the NA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the case for a lot of people, how you were talking about, or NQ said in chat about how Red Eye was surprised at all the people that were there without much advertising, just the viewership base. And a lot of the people, somebody else said in chat, a lot of the people at ESL Studios were like, this game is hype, this is really exciting, can't wait. At the launch event, I was hanging out with one of the owners of a prominent League of Legends team, and he said, like, dude, I really haven't experienced Smite before, and you have the in-house community to really fund it. The camera angles really work out. There's a big future for Smite. Red Eye tweeted out that he was impressed at SK. He's like, his tweet was like, dude, I'm doing research on what to do with Smite, and I see names like SK Gaming, Cloud9, Team Solo Mid, Dig the Top. What the hell? Where are all these? This Smite's got the big guns, quote unquote. All these people in and around esports that have been the old guard, so to speak. They're checking out Smite, and they just have good things to say. Right. I talked to another prominent, well-respected esports caster at PAX East this past year, and he was like, "Dude, I watched the launch event, and damn, your game is hype." It's a big deal, it's going to be a big thing, and Reddit.com's like our esports, definitely an unloved subreddit. If you're in esports, go ahead and click on that one. But our esports, somebody asked like, what are the games that people are playing competitively, and they were like, all right, look, we got MOBA number 1, MOBA number 2, Street Fighter, we got Counter-Strike and Call of Duty, and
StarCraft.
Somebody said Smite's on the rise. StarCraft's getting put but, Hearthstone and Smite's on the rise, and really to be recognized as one of the big guys is a big deal, especially when you consider we launched like a couple of months ago, dude.
March.
The game that we play launched in March. Big deal. Big deal.
I forget somewhere. I know. You know what? This was yesterday during. I was rebroadcasting this tournament on Smite Game, and so I was hanging out in chat, enjoying it again. And there was a lot of League of Legends players that come in. Some were there that were very mature and cool about it. I mean, it was highlighted on Twitch, the Smite Game channel, so people were checking it out. And you had your toxic player, people coming in that were just there to complain, and then there were other people there that were definitely there to support it. And a League of Legends person was like, you guys realize like their world championship tournament is 600 plus, and they had some comparison to a League of Legends tournament which was like 100K, and was like this is dope, as you said, using F.Dot's terminology there, like this is a big deal. And it was good to see that from other big names out there, like Riot's League of Legends and stuff like that, and same thing with Dota. And I think Smite will become more and more. It seems like what I saw from that was a lot of people, Smite kind of gets that ugly stepchild, type of title, because it's not Dota, it's not League of Legends, it's Smite. And, it didn't pop up right when MOBAs were the big explosion within the video game scene. They kind of came a few steps behind. Hi-Rez has done very well with it. And I was talking with somebody from ESL and just kind of asking, how does this compare with some of the other stuff that you guys have hosted in your studios and stuff like that? And he was like, it was awesome. He said it definitely is one of the top ones that they've had to do. And the hype around Smite over in the EU scene, he says it's growing faster than what I don't think anyone would have expected, which is great. Great to see for sure. So we're going to round out our esports section here, and we have a little bit of time, so we're going to go ahead and take community questions right from ask.fm/TheSmiteUpdate. This is F.'s favorite part of the show that we get to do every once in a while, so I will post it in chat.
Don't forget to log in, Octane.
That's right. It's I know, that's why it's there. It's right there. Neo Karis, if you want to go ahead, you can log in, check that out as well. It is there.
Where is it?
It's right below the link.
He knows where it is.
I always close this crap. I don't. So for the uninitiated, yes. Octane Pro takes a lot of time out of his life to put detailed show notes about what, and I don't pay.
They're beautiful. I love it.
Now he yells at me until I open up the link, so I open it. And then I minimize it.
I'm like one of those parents where he asked me a question. I'm like, it's in the show notes. And he's like, well, can you just tell me? I'm like, no, open your show notes. I sent them to you. They're right there. Scroll down. They're right there. That's right. So anyways.
Thanks, Octane Dad.
That's right. So the link is in chat. What it is ask.fm/TheSmiteUpdate. You guys can feel free to go there. You don't have to sign in or anything. Go there and ask a question. It's completely anonymous. I actually deleted one, and real quick, and I didn't mean to. I was clearing out the old ones. There was like 91 old ones in there, and it was a pretty cool question. It was just, if you guys were to get a tattoo or had a tattoo, what would you get? And the reason that I'm talking about that one is I don't know if you guys saw on Reddit this past week.
On Kelly.
Kelly
posted it.
Yeah, someone got a Raw America tattoo.
Not Kelly.
Yeah.
Right? That's not,
no, it's not Kelly.
No, Kelly didn't get it. She posted someone that got it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Kelly got, not only has blue hair now, she now has a giant Raw America. No, some dude got a giant Raw America on his back, like right on his shoulder there. And it was actually really sweet. I don't know that I would do that, but it was pretty cool. But, I'll ask you guys if you would ever get a tattoo. That was one of the questions. Or if you already have one, what would you get?
Go ahead, Kevin. You look like you got a whole lot of tattoos.
Oh, man.
In a bike gang?
Every day. I don't know, man. If I got a Smite tattoo, probably like...
Not even Smite. Anything. It's not
any tattoo? Yes. Oh, I'd get the Batman. Like the Dark Knight Batman. The really crisp one that just has like the very hard lines. Like, I'd get that right here.
I gotta give you props. What about you, F.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't have any tattoos. A lot of my friends, I think I'm the only one without a tattoo in my group of like 50+ friends.
Okay.
That's generally the crowd I hang out with. I've been toying around. I've been toying with the idea for a long time.
Okay.
Of getting maybe a chessboard or a Go board individual pieces like that. I don't know. I'm a huge strategy nerd and stuff like that.
I like
it. So I a lot of my boys have like Bouncing Souls tattoos and tattoos about my buddy Brian has the what's it called, the Mandalorian symbol right on his chest.
Oh, really?
And so, cool stuff like that. But I don't know. I think tattoos are really dope. I just don't a lot
of thought.
I don't have a good enough idea as to what I get. So the first answer is yes, I would absolutely get a tattoo. But I've been thinking for a long ass time about what to get, and I got no idea. The closest I ever got was I almost got the Budweiser symbol. So
tramp stamp.
No. Yes. But the closest I ever got was so my pops passed away when I was a kid, and then as I was 18, 19, and he was really into he has a lot of Budweiser collectibles and stuff.
Okay.
So I almost got the Budweiser logo on probably upper arm because that's cliche. But I almost got the Budweiser logo, replacing the word Budweiser with Battinger, my last name.
Oh, very cool.
The Budweiser font.
Okay.
And
so something more meaningful for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not really the camp that tattoos must mean something. But I didn't want to get my favorite band tattooed on my face. So that was the closest I ever got, and I actually I went on an appointment and stuff, but I decided totally means something to me. Definitely just gonna look like a fat old hip hobo that likes Budweiser a lot from a distance.
I can
so
see
I
that.
decided against
I
it.
can see that.
Despite the deeper meaning.
Who is
of
that
it, I
redneck
was
trailer
like, it's just
trash?
gonna look like a logo, because that's what it is. So, yeah, maybe next time.
Sure. Sure. I actually have a tattoo. It is on my back. I got it back in college, and it wasn't like a stupid college thing. I had been wanting to get one for about 5 years, and
Wait. Need to establish. It's on your lower.
It's back? Right in the middle. You know, tramp stat. No, it's actually.
It's like right above your waistline.
Wait, really?
No, it's actually.
Okay.
It's actually on my shoulder. Right on the back side of my shoulder, and it is something I thought about for probably about 5 years, and threw around a bunch of different ideas. And I have a little bit of artistic background to the point where I spent 5 years actually drawing out my own tattoo. And then I actually met with a tattoo artist and had it drawn out, and it's very in depth about like you as a person being stripped down and people that have passed away overseeing me and stuff like that. So it's very well thought and very family oriented. So I have that on my back here with a Bible, like not a Bible verse. I shouldn't say that.
Word.
It says, "Greater love hath no man than thee, than to give up your life for your friends." And it's kind of etched out there, so it's pretty cool. If you see me in person, I'll show you if you really want to see it. But yeah, so let's look at another question. Nivakaris, I'll allow you to go ahead and pick our next question here. After you read it off, just go ahead and hit the X next to it to delete it, and we'll go from there.
That's a big responsibility. Why doesn't F-Top on first?
There's so many.
Yeah, there are a lot.
I'll continue carrying. No big deal. Let's take a look. What are you guys' predictions about Amazon? Yeah, who cares? What do you think about SK player? I said it out loud. I don't really. I mean, this question's rather one-dimensional, but what do you think about SK Player Maniac? I'll go ahead and answer this one. You guys can feel free to ring in if you so desire. SK Player Maniac has come a long way. When Maniac first joined the SK crew, I think that he was very raw in the sense that he seemed talented, but he seemed talented. Sorry, I just got some really interesting information. But he seemed rather talented and just didn't have all the synergy with the rest of the team. And I think at the time, looking at it, I thought it was a little more than just he needs time to work with the team. I think it was both he needs to hone his personal skills and mesh with the team. Well, we all know what happened. He made some incredible plays on Chang'e, and I think that it really came together. So I think Maniac started off as a high-level ranked player and flourished into a competitive player in these weeks up until the tournament. And I think it's dope that he's Portuguese. Can we call him Smite's Ronaldo yet?
Yeah, no, that's a good call. That's a good call. Any comments there at all before we jump to another one? All right.
I actually found one that I like.
Go for it.
That's okay. Okay. On a competitive level, who do you firmly believe to be the best all-around mage and all-around warrior? Hoping not to hear Herc as an answer, LOL. I was going to say...
Go for it.
I'm going to go with the mage one first. I think Agni. I think Agni for sure, because Agni has... You know, I think Hindu and Bart were talking about this yesterday, in fact, during the tournament, that Agni has been across the qualifiers and even further just a consistently picked mid laner. Through all of the changes, through all the other gods, he has always been there. And, you know, he's got his mobility and he's got his damage. He's, you know, he has such utility. He has the good crowd control for, you know, controlling team fights too. And just across the board, Agni, he can be, he's not terribly hard to play too, which I think is a good thing. You know, he's got nuances, certainly. I'm not saying he's, you know, like he's not Ao Kwang, but
point and click.
Like, yeah, exactly. He's not really complicated, but he has a really high skill ceiling, I guess is what I'm thinking. But I think that comes from not being too complicated because, well, I mean, with a really simple god, you can only go so far. But I think he has a really good balance between that.
Okay.
And then on the warrior side, right now I definitely would say Osiris. I think Herc has, you know, Herc's great.
Herc had his phase. He had his phase. Yeah.
You know, especially with Ninja Bobat against TSM in those during their, you know, he hyper carried all the way across the board. You can't kill Osiris once he turns on, especially if he is fed at all. You are not gonna kill him ever.
Yeah.
He gets his life steal, and it's just you're done. That's it. So.
What do you think, F-Dot?
I'll go ahead and I'll agree on the Osiris front. I definitely think Osiris is absolutely incredible. As far as mage, I hate the term mage because you have mages like Aphrodite, Freya, and Agni who don't belong in the same category whatsoever.
I can
agree. But we
there.
have to say that I like the Agni choice. It's a very safe choice. But I think Aphrodite is less valuable than she might seem, and she's capable of making plays, but I don't think she's overall the mage that is Agni or Scylla. I still think
Scylla is.
It's had some
it
time. It
surprises me they don't pick her as much.
Yeah,
as
I think I might have to retreat, and I usually like to give the dissenting opinion if at all possible, but I think Agni is definitely the way to go with the best mage. You can make bigger and better plays with gods like Habwa, Isis, and Scylla, but as far as just overall good or bad, I think that Agni, safe dash, range stun, manaless ultimate, wave clear level 2. Yeah. Agni.
Yeah, Agni's had a really good kit since just even originally coming out. I think Agni's one of those older gods that's been around for quite some time. Wasn't the originals, but it's been around to the point where
just about
hasn't really had a lot done to his kit either. Yeah. He's not one of those gods where like if you look back, you're like, wow, like there's been a lot done to this god's kit back and forth. A lot of tweaking and adjustments. For example, someone that sticks out to me is like Hell. Hell has had a ton of tweaks done during her kit. I remember there was 4 or 5 patches where it was back-to-back Hell adjustments. And I don't feel that with Agni. I feel like Agni, kind of Nivikaris had talked about, it's just been around for such a long time and has done very, very well within that within that mage role. Jump on to another question here. MVP of the EU kickoff LAN. I'm gonna have to say Reels is my personal opinion. What about you, Nivikaris?
I'm probably thinking Badger. I'm a support lover. Love my supports.
F-Dot?
I want to say Reels.
Yeah.
I want to say
You're
Captain
a fanboy. Oh, Captain Twig's one of your favorites there.
Gotta say Emilzy.
Oh, we throw it to the coach. Good for you. Good for you.
Have to say
secret answer F.
Yeah,
it's I don't need to say anything because y'all could go watch the VOD.
Yeah, you could see him right there in the background and everything.
Yeah. I mean, no. Even on the battlefield.
Okay.
Like, just watching his team, they pulled strategies out. They did things that people... You could just see the translation of the coaching on the battlefield.
Yeah. It's
not always super apparent. And a lot of times you get this comment in chat like, what did the coach do for esports? But Emilzy just showed us what.
Yeah.
Go watch old VODs of Coast, and I mean, people that really dissect the sport can notice it. I mean, I guarantee you people like MLB Star and some of our hyper fans out there definitely know what I'm talking about. But you watch old VODs of Coast, or better known as Worth Gaming, and they're strong. Because they're a strong group of players that ride that Shaggy Shank train to victory, and they understand what to do. But when Emilzy really like buckled down and brought it, the difference was incredible. And the team that showed up at LAN was Worth Gaming is a shadow of the current team that Team Coast brings to the table. And I don't credit that all to Emilzy. I think the players need a lot of credit. I think everyone but Shaggy Shank was their superstar. And he still is, but I think the gap has closed because everybody on that team has done a lot of work. But Emilzy has put in tons of hours, and you can definitely see it both in team synergy and team strategy.
Okay. F-Dot, you got a question?
I'm getting called out for saying MVP Emilzy. So all right, you know what? MVP is Reels. MVP is Reels.
There you go. All right, what question you got?
But I don't like that.
That's right.
I don't like saying MVP. Ravioli. Who is the president? YOLO 420. One of my favorite questions anybody has ever submitted to us. Ever. Whoever submitted that, please, I will send you a gem code.
There you go.
I love you.
Now
Ravioli. Who is the president? YOLO 420. All right. What do you think was the most unconventional, successful pick of the tournament yesterday, and why do you think it works? From Lothario. I
Chalk.
definitely know who I want to answer.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Octane.
No, I'll go for it first. Go for it. It's all you.
I think it's I don't necessarily call Thanatos. I don't call Thanatos unconventional, but a lot of other people will.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and say Thanatos. SK obviously. So one of the Thanatos and Tier played out for SK Gaming very well. You could tell that they practiced with set up junglers. A lot of people say that, oh, Tier got nerfed, he's not good. Well, Fearless still pushes you a soccer field away, a football pitch away. It still happens, all right? Tier still does that. He might have lost some damage, but you still start over here and wind up over here. And if your team can make use of that, well, you're going to get pooped on. Same thing with Thanatos. You make the gamble and you try to get fed early, and people are like, oh, if you don't get fed early, you're going to lose. Even high-skilled professional players say if you don't get fed early, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Hovering Death is a stun that has a silence attached to it because of Soul Reap. The amount of setup that brings, the 4-3 combo from Thanatos, if your team practices around that, you can destroy people. And that's exactly what SK did. They made use of Thanatos. They got lucky and they fed him early in one game. And then the other game, not the case, still didn't matter because he did his job as an initiator. And the team practiced around junglers that set things up rather than junglers that made things happen. And that really fit their team and that won. So I would say, while not unconventional, Tier and Thanatos being brought up by SK Gaming was unpopular, I suppose,
I can
and
see that.
Really worked out for the best.
Okay. Mine, they're gonna have to be Mercury, to be honest with you. Just Mercury. Seeing Mercury picked up there by SK Gaming, kind of surprising. And that was my pick. Surprised to see Mercury, being brought back into things a little bit more. I mean, he's been around, here or there, but just kind of surprised to see that in Game 4. So I'd have to pick Mercury. Maybe Karis, anyone that kind of stood out to you at all?
All right, I'm just gonna admit this, and chat's gonna slit my throat for this.
Oh, I can't wait.
I don't really remember any of unconventional picks.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just putting myself out there, putting myself on the cross. But you can just kill me. That's all I'm ready for it.
That's right. Do it.
So go for that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Why don't
I
you...
agree with F's reasoning certainly.
Yeah.
No.
What do you? What's your next question? I'll let you pick the next one then. Since you'll be.
I like. What do you think Hi-Rez could do to expand the fan base?
Keep on trucking.
I think they're doing really good. If you notice, I think they did a lot of really good things this weekend partnered with ESL. If you notice, they were, the promoted game this past weekend with Twitch. So, definitely doing the marketing side of things there. If you also notice, the advertisements you saw this weekend, even if you went to other streams, the first advertisement, what was it? It was Smite.
I don't know, I'm Turbo.
Well, for those of us that aren't Turbo, you will notice that, it was which was funny enough, it was the not your typical MOBA, where it kind of has your League of Legends third-person Dota view, and then, that video where it zooms in and has Thor smashing the hammer. So I think they did a lot of really good things to increase their fan base. I think that's where a lot of the hate came from in chat, though, this past weekend, with a lot of League of Legends and Dota players stopping in to take a look. But, hey, I also saw a lot of people that were like, hey, I should really check out this game. And so this past weekend, that's exactly what you want. You want to increase your fan base, and that's exactly what that is. The people that are already playing the game are fans. Trust me, once you play it, you're hooked. But for the people that aren't playing it, I think they're doing a really good job of expanding things very, very well. And I think that's what they did this weekend with really marketing hard during the weekends like this, where stream numbers were good. What was the peak at? You got, what was it, 13?
I don't have any numbers on that,
Okay.
but I agree. Strategic marketing is important. Like you said, showing up, we have a LAN tournament, boom!
Yep.
That's when we're going to really pull out all the stops and stuff like that. That's really dope to me. But in general, just keep on trucking.
Yeah.
I think just keep doing what Hi-Rez is doing there. They're making really impressive LAN events, big pot bonuses for everybody to come out. I think we're making all the right things, and as far as huge marketing moves, when it's appropriate, go for it, but there's no reason to throw money for a Game Informer magazine advertisement slot or anything. I think it's just generally keep doing what you're doing and make sure your stuff is good.
Yeah, I think especially expanding the esports is only gonna because
Yeah.
people that
Oh,
didn't people that didn't know much about like Dota 2 really heard like, oh, there's this esports tournament that has a prize pool of $10 million. And even someone that knows next to nothing about Dota 2 is going to hear that be like, a video game with a prize pool of $10 million? What? And they're going to want to check that out and want to hear about that and like, maybe I should try this game out, just see what it's all about. So I think just continuing expanding the esports to get people hyped about the game is, I mean, they're doing a great job. They are. It's like I think we've all been saying, just keep doing what they're doing, and this is, to me, that's one of the most important things.
One of the other cool things that I see going on, we have people that aren't like Trump found the game by himself, and Trump's streaming Smite occasionally. All he plays is Neath. But
good for
Trump
him.
plays and streams Smite, and that's huge. And then Hi-Rez is also working together with certain streamers. We see the whole like Smosh thing go out recently.
YouTubers
Smosh
and
is
stuff.
like he's got roughly 8 bazillion YouTube subscribers, and his stream is popular. So Smosh coming through, having celebrities stream Smite, and a couple of them have like accounts full of like 9K gems, etc. Just cool stuff working. Like I said, some people are just finding it on their own, and other people are being helped to find the game, like Smosh and community stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. By the way, that was a completely original idea, and nobody sent me a message about that.
One thing I think is also
oh god. Anyways, which Hi-Rez employee sent you that one? Anyways, though, on top of that, I can agree. I was actually impressed the other day to see Trump playing. Trump, if you guys aren't familiar, professional Hearthstone player. Card game. And,
I'm pretty sure he just found the game too.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I
don't think there was any Hi-Rez involvement.
Yeah, not at all. I was listening to the stream.
You know what happened? Yeah, you know what happened? So I'm like killing you right now.
That's all right. Go for it. I'll allow you to talk. You always do it. Jeez.
Basically.
Married couple.
But yeah, basically what happened was, I don't know if you caught Limp Bizkit streaming recently. Fred Durst has started to stream. Twitch works with like local athletes to stream stuff, and Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst just kind of like watches Twitch, and he's like, I'm gonna stream myself playing Call of Duty, and like chat was all full of Twitch employees like, dude, you're actually Fred Durst on our platform. That's so cool. And it's kind of what Trump chat was like when he started streaming.
Yeah.
Hi-Rez, everyone just showed up, along with people like myself and Demon Machine, and people just like, yo, Trump's playing Smite. That's awesome. So I don't think Hi-Rez was really like working that. I think it was just he heard the game was dope and jumped on it. So I think that's really cool. But obviously Hi-Rez working with people like Smosh, and we did the creature stuff around the launch event and stuff like that. Yeah. That's my preferred method of advertisement. If that's how you're gonna do that, because you have people like I said, they worked with Smosh and the creature specifically. I don't know who else they've worked with, but that is just, it's so impactful. Like I have, for example, if my favorite streamer Fats or somebody like that decided to come out and stream game XYZ, I would take a look at game XYZ, because I like Fats, I like what he does, I like his content, and if he likes something, I like something. So if you take people with a huge group of fans like that, it's just great. It's just great marketing. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think you said it really well there. It's strategic marketing, and that's kind of what we've been seeing out of Hi-Rez. Not really the very traditional style, but very strategic to the point where it definitely pays off. And we don't really know all the numbers per se. I mean, Hi-Rez hasn't really been like, oh, we have this many accounts, but from time to time they go ahead and drop, oh, we're over 3.5 million accounts or whatever, stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff that I think is important to know, that we are growing. We don't have a stats page for us that says, okay, on this date we hit this many, on this date we hit this many, and it doesn't just keep on growing. So pretty cool there. Another question here. What's your number 1 tip for a player still learning the game? Neva Karras, I'll throw it to you first.
Don't give up. Just keep trying. You'll have bad games sometimes, and you'll have great games sometimes. And the most important thing that you can do is to just want to keep playing. And, one of the things that I found deterred me the most when I was new to the game were people that BM'd. They were, sometimes really hard to deal with. And the best things you can do are report them or mute them.
Sure.
And just remember that not everyone's like that. And you will have games that have people that are really supportive and really nice. And to just keep playing the game. Like, never give it up. On more of a specific side, I guess, watch streamers.
Yeah.
I think there's a great way to watch the pro streamers. They are great about, a lot of them are great about explaining why they're doing things, especially some of the dig streamers like Anatoly and Zapman are really good about explaining why they do stuff. ShadowQ also. So watch them and feel free to, they are all really big about people asking them questions in chat too. So if you have a specific question about something, go ahead and ask them because they will, you might have to, it might take a little bit because they have pretty big rooms and they have a lot of people asking them questions, but if you persist and aren't, spamming, if you consistently ask a question, they'll probably get there, but yeah, definitely don't spam because then they won't answer your question.
Nice hat there. Nice hat.
Yeah,
Looks good.
it's just for Brucey out in chat. Definitely called me out on my hat attire after talking about Fred Durst. But I mean, my 2 cents on how to become a better player is just as Kevin said, just stick to your guns, keep playing, don't be discouraged. People are gonna open their mouths. Just make sure to shut it for them by being better than them or hitting that mute button.
Yeah.
But streams also a good point. People I really like to shout out are Jeff Hinla, support player for Cognitive Gaming.
Very good.
ShadowQ, support player for Dignitas. Really no surprise that the informative players are support players, just putting that out there. Occasionally, Kret will stream, and Kret's not, not exactly best player worldwide, but has a I call him calculated Kret.
Oh,
He's
my
got
word.
that mathematical mind. So he definitely understands a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So watching those 3 streams definitely help out. I'm sure I'm missing some other informative streams, but information is totally dope. And like I said, just keep on practicing. There's some platitude that's probably untrue about X amount of hours of practice till perfection.
Right.
I don't believe in that, but the sentiment is believed. Keep on trying, and eventually you'll get.
And one thing too that separates, I think, a lot of pro players from a lot of non-pro players is if you go to their accounts in game, and anyone can do this, they've all played thousands of conquest matches.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it is great. It's really interesting to see it personally, I think, but that is why they're really good is they've played the game a lot. And if you want to get really good, you play the game a lot.
Yeah. No, I think all really, really good points that you guys kind of hit all them on the head there regarding, who to learn from and who to watch and stuff like that. So I think those are really good points.
Yeah, before we move on, Lothario says MLC Cell stream is very good too. That's good point. MLC stuff. I mean, well, to be fair, Jeff gets a little moody as well these days. ShadowQ really ShadowQ deals with adversity by trolling people back. So
Sure,
that can be fun. I don't know, but those stealth definitely is a good stream to watch as well.
Okay. And you guys got other questions there that you found?
I'll go fishing.
Go fishing.
Would you guys ever
ravioli?
Would you guys ever cosplay as one of the Smite characters?
I can see Nivacaris as Mercury. Just gonna put that off.
I'm thinking Neath. Oh, Mercury.
You remind me of the Mercury from the launch tournament.
I see
The
that.
cosplay.
dude.
Great,
I
yeah.
totally see that. Oh man,
He was great too. I'm glad he won. Like he deserved it. His costume is awesome.
Would I ever cosplay? Who would you cosplay if you had to cosplay F-Dot?
Serious question. I would like to cosplay as Kronos.
Kronos.
I
Okay.
could. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm thinking get like LEDs, because you know how his outfit kind of like glows.
Yeah.
Like that'd be sweet to like embed LEDs into the fabric and have it kind of like light up and close out. If I knew how to design anything,
Yes.
which I don't.
F-Dot, what do you got? What are you cosplaying as?
I don't really do that.
I can see F-Dot as Chalk, maybe. I can see him pull off a Chalk.
I can see F-Dot as Afro
Oh, you look like a jaguar. But no, I mean, I probably cosplay as something easy because I don't like wearing things. It's like I was an all-county football player and I quit because I hate wearing pants. Like that's a thing. Like,
my man just likes to walk around with his pants off. That's how he casts.
No. Pants. Not
Oh.
pants. Pads, not pants.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe like Grand Slam Hercules or something where I could like literally.
Yeah, I can
just
see
put
you
on
as
a
that
jersey
one.
and a bat.
Yeah.
But I'm not about that life.
Okay.
F-Dot is Thor, no doubt. I can see that right.
That's right. He's got the six.
F-Dot is hell. Buddha, maybe not.
He's got the
but
six pack to
Hercules-
support it. It's all good. He's got the six pack.
My horrific.
All right, what else we got here? Let's see. Who'd I go as? I don't know. I don't see myself. Ymir, you see me play Ymir?
That's all you play, dude.
Maybe.
No, I don't know. You can pull off. You can pull off a Mercury.
I can see that. I can see that. All right, my man likes to walk around with his pants off. Thanks, Food. I appreciate it. Add that to the board. All right, let's see what else do we have here. We'll take a few more, and then we'll go ahead and close things out. Let's see. We already talked about some of those. Who's your favorite Smite, or who's your favorite player in Smite? Not who do you think is the best, but who's your favorite and why?
This is a dangerous question.
Yep. Yep. So, F-Dot, it's all you, man. You start. Favorite player. Not because he's the best, but just because you like him.
I don't know, dude. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Like, I got way too many friends in the scene to really attack that one. Like,
You gonna play the political route?
I'm not even gonna play the political route. It's just that dude's got friends, man. Like, Wolfie and Wolfie, Allied, and Jeff all live around me. We've all partied together. That's a lot of fun. Reels and I have a lot in common. Like, we could totally date, and we would totally be matched up on OkCupid or something like that. We just have a lot in common.
Okay.
NQ is an absolute hilarious mess of a person.
And a troll,
it's just
big troll.
it's too loaded of a question. I'm not a fan of this one.
All right, what do you got,
As far as watch play, I got to give it to Zapman or Lazarus.
Okay.
If we're talking about who's my favorite to watch play, watching Zapman make completely ridiculous plays. If you guys watch today, he went into a team fight 1v3 with 10% HP, walked away with 2 kills, and lived. I love to watch that. It's amazing. And Lazarus is the catalyst to a lot of cool stuff that Dignitas does. If y'all caught the semifinal matchup, they were down 17,000 gold. Lazarus decided to dive into the entire team as Kali and kill Habois, and his team came and killed it and won the freaking game. Lazarus is a catalyst, and Zapman makes bad decisions into good decisions. They are 2 of my favorite people to watch play Smite.
Okay.
By far.
I think this question is too dangerous to say my favorite. So I'm going to say a favorite of mine is definitely Anatoly.
Okay.
He's like such a nice guy, and how he handled, and how everyone on Dig really handled this whole situation with Shing replacing Anatoly, really gave him points to me, even more so than he already had. Just how, it wasn't in any way it was an honorable step down for him, and the way he handled it, and how he, was like saying no disrespect to any of the other players, no disrespect to the Shing, like, this is good. This is only a good thing for my team, and that's what I want. I want my team to be good. It's just such a cool thing to do. And it's just so much fun to watch him stream, too, because he's so nice, and he's... Yeah, really, he's just really nice. He's funny. I love Anatoly.
Totally, I can reverberate that as well. Totally is just... I talk a little bit about this before in the past, about how, at Smiteland, I generally get along with mostly everybody to begin with in life, and then I got along with everybody at the launch tournament, and, me and Jeff connected on, like, the fact that we're both from Long Island, and we both listen to ska music, basically, because we're from Long Island, and, like, Zapman and I, reflected on, like, Long Island and parties and stuff like that, and, differences here, and we talked about, I'm sitting there talking about, like, Smite with, like, reels and stuff, and I talked to Anatoly, and we're talking about, like, the last book he read, his favorite philosopher, and his take on Sun Tzu. And, that's just, it's more who he is. We talked about our favorite teas.
Okay.
Like, that's who Anatoly is. And twofold. One, I sincerely believe that Anatoly thinks this is the right move for his team, because I believe that he is very confident in his ability to coach. And two, I was very, like you said, I didn't expect anything less than this from Toly, but I was impressed with his discourse, or the way he went about it on Reddit. It seemed very major league.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
When iRaffer left I5, and I guess I am firing shots, but I think this is the norm. I got no problem with it.
It was nowhere near.
There was a lot of bull crap going on Twitter, and like, go for it. And we see different roster changes, and whether or not it's publicized, there's a lot of like talking or no real. Anatoly put out a press release, essentially, to get ahead of the information,
Which is
said
awesome.
all the right things while
Yeah.
still conveying his own personal opinion. It wasn't completely sanitized of, it wasn't devoid of emotion. He was like, look, it totally sucks for me. I like to be a player, but
Yeah.
I reckon, and he said all the right things, and it just,
Mhm.
it legitimized it's just another step towards legitimacy. Like
Yeah.
the way he handled that and how it went down, it was really accessible while at the same time being the right thing to say. So, I respect Anatoly an incredible amount. And if the question was who do I respect, Toly is definitely up there. And I agree with you. Anytime you want to watch a stream and just chill,
Yeah, totally.
tune into Tea Time with Toly.
Tea time.
Toly is
No,
my
that's a good
guy.
call. I actually shot him a message. I was talking to him after that press release, as you said, I guess you could say, on Reddit, and just kind of asking, is he sticking in Florida and stuff like that? And it's awesome, the fact that he's sticking with the team and doing exactly what a coach or someone in his position should be doing. So I think it's a great thing, and kind of surprised me. When I looked at Dig, me personally, I wasn't like, here's where the problem is. They really need to replace him at all. Like, it's just kind of, just looking at Dignitas's results over the last 2 years, that wasn't the first thing that came to mind. But Dignitas is also doing the things, and Anatoly is recognizing what needs to be done in order to win championships. And there's nothing wrong with that. This probably sparked from the launch tournament, to be honest with you. They probably looked back at the launch tournament, reviewed results after that, and said, okay, where can we be better? Oh, is it here? Okay, great. Let's make the changes. And Anatoly just looked like his message that he put on Reddit. He supported it and was all for it and saw the positives in it. And it's not like he's leaving the team. It's not like he's going to be out of a spotlight.
I'm just excited he's going to be a coach, man.
You know what I mean? I think, we talked several weeks back about coaching. I actually had a conversation with David Fry, majority owner of Cognitive Gaming, and just kind of say, what do you, the value in a coach? Has coaching really started to take off, and so I said, where's that value? And he just said it's invaluable. Like, we are moving in that direction where it will almost be required to compete at the top level.
I will always bring anecdotal evidence. I don't care. Go shove yourself. But I will always bring it. The fact that the winner of the qualifiers going up to the undisputed champion going into launch tournament was Cognitive Gaming. Shouts to Matty Pocket. And one of the more dominant teams in Europe was Team Solo Mid. Shouts to Zimstar.
Yeah.
That is totally a thing, man. It's definitely a thing. Especially when you have a mindset like Anatoly. It's just going to work out. And as I said before, team's going to go from good to great, or great to greater, or greater to fantastic. Whatever adjectives you want to throw it in, they're going from already a good spot to a better spot. This can only be better for them.
Okay. No, good point. Good point, for sure. Any last questions you guys want to jump on that you think will be valuable before we go ahead and close things out?
Why don't you pick one more, Octane? Pick a weird one, because there are a lot of those.
All right. Let's see what we have here.
Malefic. I love that guy's voice back.
So many.
I like the one that just came in. How do you think Curse Voice will affect SmiteESports by bringing players together? In the past we've talked to people about kind of getting you're a high-ranked player, or hey, I want to be a competitive player. What is the best route to go? And there's been lots of discussion about that, and time again, we talk to guys like Woofy, who are no stranger to the show and stuff like that, or other professional players, and they're like, well, it's not like there's a page where you go to and say, hey, I'm a free agent. Here's my link page. This is where you can find me, to my stats. Because that doesn't mean you can play on a competitive team. But we've always pushed in the past, ranked. Like, play ranked, get recognized, you get higher level, you end up playing with the same guys time and time again. Well, now with Curse Voice, I think this will affect it a pretty good amount, because now you're not just playing in game, and you're not going to be forced to, in game you don't have to talk. You can just use the VGS system, and so you never end up connecting with anyone. But if you're a high level player and you're looking to be in the competitive scene, and all of a sudden you jump into a game, Curse Voice, and you're playing with Zatman, for example, and you're shooting the shit or whatever, and you play back and forth, you talk a little bit, great, well, the next time he plays, you might remember that a little bit more, or whatever, you could be recommended and stuff like that. So I think it allows for a communication barrier that comes with just playing a game under a handle that kind of breaks that barrier, and now you're able to socialize a little bit more, and you're also able to see, like, hey, like, I just played a game and ranked, and this guy was spot on calling on calls or team fights and stuff like that. And so, you can start to connect a little bit more with those people. So I think it's good. I think the timing that the Curse voice client is introduced into Smite is perfect for the rate that the esports scene is going to be growing. What do you guys think about it?
I don't think Curse Voice is going to really affect much of anything with respect to competitive play. I think it's going to bring ranked up a notch as far as like ranked skill.
I can agree
You
there.
can hear the pros talking about it right now. Like playing in ranked with Curse Voice is hard because players are actually able to respond to ganks and you get full rotations, etc. I don't really think it has anything to do with competitive esports. You're going to get recognized based on your skill alone. If your calls can still be called by VGS, your calls might be improved by a second with Curse Voice. I don't really think there's any real impact there. I think it's all, Curse is really catering towards the more casual is the wrong word, but the other side of Smite. I think every side except for esports will be in a better spot with Curse Voice. I think it's fantastic for joining a ranked game. I think it's fantastic if you want to play with it in a casual game. I think it's great. But with respects to being on a professional team and playing with a professional team and getting sponsored for being a professional team, I think that Curse Voice has nothing to do with it, but the upcoming Challenger series, the Challenger Cup, is a completely different world. Small segue, but I think that people will be more attracted. We got this a little earlier in the past episodes, how players are afraid, again, is the wrong terminology, but discouraged from playing in the weekly tournaments because they're just going to be beat by Dignitas or Cognitive or insert your favorite team here in like the round of 16 or the round of 32. It's just going to happen. Well, what happens when you take the 6 best teams? Let's face it, North America doesn't have much more than 6. Oh! But when you take out the 6 best
calling
teams,
out.
Fired.
I know.
That's my name. Don't wear it out. But you take the 6 best teams out of the scene, and now, Random Feeder 32 and X Dragon Slayer X 420, they have no reason not to go in and toss their hat into the ring, grab 4 friends, try really hard, and who knows, they make it to the semifinals, and all of a sudden they do what Worth Gaming did or Non-Pockety did, and we're like, oh crap, we're actually competitive. I guess we'll actually try now. That's how stars are born. That's how it happens. That's how these teams come. So I don't think Curse Voice really has any impact in that. The players that want to play at a high level are going to download Mumble, Vent, Gamebox, etc., 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 etc. I think Curse really attacks the other end, but the upcoming Challenger Cup is really where we're going to see new players enter the scene. And if you've ever considered playing on a professional or competitive level, now's your chance. Come through, bring us some quality entertainment in the Challenger Cup, because now's your chance. The door is open, and we're waiting for talented players to come through and make yourself known.
No, I think that's a good point. Good point for sure. Any last comments there on that, Nevikaris, for you at all? With Curse Voice?
I was going to agree with Octane until Ep.60 started talking, and then I was like, well...
that happens a lot because he's a good bullshitter, but it's okay.
I think he's really right. I think the skill speaks for itself, and honestly, the best way to show skill in competitive scene is doing tournaments. I said this earlier, that playing League can only get you so far. It can get you noticed, it can get you some name recognition, but if people really want to be like, this player is a player that, because some people, get cold feet in tournaments. They can be good playing comfortably, just playing a league game that, I could lose a league game, I'll lose some points, but it's a, whatever, I can bounce back from that, I can re-queue immediately, no problem. But in a tournament, you lose the tournament game and you're done for the day. Or it could get up to the point where you might be, in theory, playing a game for $50,000, $100,000, and that can be, if you're not a good tournament player, then that's what the competitive team is going to want to know.
Yeah, no, I could agree. I mean, there's a
shouts to Team Coast. Like,
oh man.
I don't mean to throw Shaggy Shank under the table or under the bus.
You're gonna do it anyway.
Of course. the interviews that he dude looked like he was rolling around in his own feces. Like, straight up, deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? I think anybody that has really done anything on a high stage, whether it's, Little League and you make it to the finals of your own small town, or your your marching band makes it to regionals or whatever. Anybody that's ever done that and experienced that, you get this moment not everybody does, but a lot of people I didn't because I'm a douche. But a lot of people get this moment where they're just like, do I don't really belong here. There's an actual term for it where you just feel like you're faking it. When you get your first professional job and you're in the office with everybody that's been doing it for a long time, and you look around and you're like, am I faking it? Do I really belong here? That was the look on Shaggy Shanks and his team's face, and those guys just got they grabbed friends. Like two of their teammates are buddies in real life, and they just grabbed a whole bunch of people, made a team. Fast forward, 2 months, and now they're competing for $25,000 portion of a $50,000 pot.
They definitely rode the highway compared to the slow lane.
Same thing with TSM. Cubo Fred and Trickstank, I believe, are friends outside of Smite, and they just came together and decided to play, and then boom, all of a sudden they're collecting a $100,000 paycheck.
Is that all? Is that all?
Yeah, 108. My mistake. But
come on now.
Anybody can do this sort of stuff, and you take a look at the looks on Worth Game or on Team Coast, and I mean that more as a compliment and an inspirational note to the other players out there than a negative note to Team Coast. It's the idea that you can be starry-eyed and wind up someplace that you quote unquote don't belong in. So anybody can make it. And how fast it happened to Coast. I feel like 3 weeks ago we were calling them Worth Gaming.
Yeah.
Just anybody can really do it. There's a lot of room out there to be pro teams, and the Challenger Cup is going to be begging for talent.
Well, it's funny because talking about Worth Gaming, I remember some time back we were talking about Worth when they were up and coming and doing very well for not being as well known, and we were talking about it. We're just waiting for someone to pick up Worth Gaming. We're waiting for an organization to pick them up. It's gonna happen. And Team Coast Blue coming right back into the Smite scene was awesome to have that happen because SK Gaming left the scene. They came back in, and that's awesome, and we're happy about that. We hate losing organizations like that. Looking back, Curse and Root when they were in the scene, it was great when they were here. It was such a shame that they left and they haven't returned. But SK Gaming did. Same thing with Team Coast Blue. So those are great additions back into the scene for sure. So which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Any last comments from anybody before we go ahead and round things out here for tonight?
Nope.
Yes, no.
I guess not.
All right.
ESL was EU Regional LAN was absolutely dope. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Hi-Rez Josh. He did a lot of work behind the scenes. Josh and Brad really did a lot of work, and sometimes
are you saying that just because he's in chat? Come on now. Why you gotta fluff it up? Josh is always in chat. He lives in Breeze chat. Oh, sorry.
Dude,
please
continue.
Please continue.
No, what I'm saying is that I totally gave a bazillion credit to Red Eye and all the people in front of the camera, but I think the people behind the camera did a lot of work as well. So shouts to everybody, and Josh definitely isn't messaging me on Skype right now.
yeah, that's what I thought. Really, man, everything F. says is dictated by other people. He is very not true to his word at all. As I said, he's a BSer. Don't listen to him. Anyways, folks, I want to remind you guys, we did more recently start up a Twitter account, twitter.com/TheSmiteUpdate. Please make sure that you guys go ahead over there and follow that account. We gave away some Tier Monster Ward Skin tonight. We'll be giving away some other stuff over the next week or so. So please make sure you guys do check that out. Not only is it going to be a great Twitter account for giveaways to win, but also going to be a lot of esports updates on there along with game updates as well. So please make sure that you guys go check that out. Twitter.com/TheSmiteUpdate. Would appreciate it. Outside that, that's probably going to do it for today's episode, guys. Check out all the previous episodes at youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate directly at the bottom. As you guys can see there, right at the bottom. Hang on here. I have to mute. There we go. Muting someone. Outside of that, special thanks to all of our 5-star listeners from iTunes. We have a lot of iTunes, a big following on iTunes, so shout out to the audio audience. And thank you for everybody that's given us 5-star reviews. It's definitely helped to bring up the ratings of the show and give us a little bit more coverage than we normally would. So please make sure you check that out. If you guys haven't checked out the audio-only version, it's not only available on iTunes, but also MP3 and RSS feeds. So just go ahead and download your favorite podcast app. I use BeyondPod, and just search for Smite Update. You guys can go ahead and check it out there. Outside of that, make sure you guys check us out every week right here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame. It'll be directly after the tournament ends, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, give or take, depending on the how long the tournament's running. And finally, throw it over to F. Where can people check you out when you are not on Smite Update?
Of course, you can find me on my personal stream, twitch.tv/fswag. I generally stream there. I shoot for every weekday, and 1 to 2 times a week, I film a show called, I just named it.
Last Hit?
We call it Last Hits. So yeah, that happens 1 to 2 times a week, really throwing down a solid schedule for it. But you can catch the VODs. I highlight them. You can find them on the channel, and you can also find clips on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/f.yt. I'm very much a YouTube noob, but the level of production will be going up, so don't you worry. You can also find me on Twitter, twitter.com/f.ny, if you like what I said and you want the ramblings of a madman. And you can find me at Tier Monster in the mornings, 7 to 10, when
you show
wake
up. Yeah, definitely check out Last Hit, guys. Yesterday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, on my way back from the Outer Banks, and guess what I turned on before the EU tournament? Turned on F. I listened to Last Hit, and it was perfect. It was exactly what the scene needs going into, like, prior to a tournament. Like, hey, you want to get caught up real quick? You want to hear what's going on? Check it out. And it's not just going to be that type of content. You have some really good plans for a lot of stuff that you're going to be doing with it.
Yeah, generally it should be that type of stuff. Like, for example, the last episode was, you can find the clips on YouTube. We talked a little bit about the past tournament that happened, the upcoming tournament. I said that SK was going to do well, just putting that out there. We reflected on Shing being on Team Dignitas, and we talked in depth about the disqualification that happened last week. So you can check out all that at youtube.com/f.yt. And yeah, so that's that.
Sweet. And Nivek Harris, first time on the show. Appreciate you coming out to join us here tonight. Where can people stay connected with you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NivekHeroes. That's NIVEKERYAS. And you can also follow me on Twitch. My Twitch is twitch.tv/NivekPlays. And I stream Smite. And actually, my roommates and I just got a new router this week. So because I was having a bunch of weird internet issues with uploading. There are 5 guys in this house apart from me. So conflicting internet made it hard to stream in the past. Right? Like all of us, downloading porn at the same time. So what you gonna do, right? That was a joke. I was kidding.
Chat's gonna love that one.
So I'm gonna hopefully be streaming a whole lot more now that we got all of our internet situation figured out. So
do you want
/NivekPlays?
There you go. If you want to go ahead and put it in Skype chat or whatever, I'll post it in Twitch so people can.
You should check out the podcast I'm on. If you go to smite.deadworkers.com, you can check out On Smite, which we've had a bunch of episodes. If you want to listen to old episodes, that's great. By all means, and we're gonna be working real soon to get some new episodes out there with some new people that haven't been on the show before. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, no, I think the additional podcasts and the scenes are awesome. I was talking with someone earlier today, just kind of, what type of other podcasts are out there, and I'm not one of those people where it's like only listen to Smite Update. You have the Dead Workers Party, Smite On, that's out there. You have shout outs to Smite Disciples as well. They're running a podcast as well. You also have kind of more of a show style is Ban Zeus, which is kind of run by F. And also
Cret. I'm also on Ban Zeus Tuesdays, 5 o'clock p.m. Twitch.tv/Smite Central, and you can find me casting the 3v3 over there as well. Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'm totally looking at my schedule. Wednesday at 1 o'clock on twitch.tv/Smite.
You're welcome. You're welcome, by the way. So yeah, there's a nice list out there, and I think Hi-Rez Kelly has kept up with it of just kind of different professional streamers. Their pages out there. There's a podcast list as well that's out there, but definitely some really good content. And there's more and more shows that are popping up. Kind of your Last Hit one as well, which is pretty big deal as well. So a lot of really good stuff out there. Guys, I will go ahead and post the link in chat for where you can go ahead and check out all the content for our guest here. Let me copy and paste that real quick so I have that available. Man, why'd you have to put it all separate lines? Man, now you make it for me. Jeez.
I'm a terrible person, I know.
That's right. So make sure you guys go follow him. This is also links to the other podcast, and then also to his Twitch account. So, he's going to be starting back up streaming. I recommend you guys go follow him. And,
yes, please do.
Give him some thanks there for sure. That is posted in chat. We will be back next week, so don't worry about that. We will be back. Won't be skipping anything, as we said before. Guys, make sure that you guys do stay tuned. We will have the Smite Talk podcast going on with myself and FG3000 starting up here in just a few minutes. Going to take a few-minute break. And if you're not familiar with Smite Talk, it is a show where you guys get to call in, kind of like a radio show. You get to call in and ask your questions live via raid call. And we'll get a chance to answer them, talk about them, very, very relaxed. Not really any structure to it, and that'll be between now and 10 p.m. So for myself, F. Dot, and Neva Karis, we will see you guys later. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.